bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? Got 5 on it.
Melko, your play-by-play caster, joined here by Fel for the series of Strawberry Odium versus Dorado Gaming. As right now, the first place seed is Dorado Gaming, and they're looking to go ahead and secure that first place spot for themselves into the going into playoffs next week. While Strawberry Odium is kind of hanging on a little bit of a rope, their fate is kind of being sealed by whether they can upset tonight and try to take down Goliath as David would do it himself, or is it going to be potentially Jet 2 Holiday not getting upset by Bloom Gaming, and is that going to help them secure their spot in playoffs? Fel, once again, welcome to Titans Olympus tonight. How you doing, my man?
I'm doing fantastic. Excited for this one. Dorado Gaming. We saw them week one, and it's just a pleasure to watch. And then Strawberry Odium. Although they're on the bubble, like you were saying, like yes, if they win tonight, they're in. If they lose, their fate's in somebody else's hand. They've actually done a really good job of when going up against the best teams in the brackets, like A and B. They've actually done an amazing job of like pushing it to the limit, getting it into a game three, like almost getting over that hump and completely upsetting, as you were saying. So Dorado Gaming, they have a chance to get first seed and guarantee it, and like boom, perfect. Like you always want that. Odium, even though they're on the outside looking in, or they're still there, like they have the potential to go outside looking in. So both of these teams they have something to fight for in the last week, which is always great. Coming into this, you never want to just see like one team that's already kind of given up, or like it's such a far shot. The only thing that would be better is if both of these teams were vying for the last place, in the playoffs. Um, but yeah, no, this is going to be. I think this is going to be a banger. I honestly think that this has a very high potential of going 3 games. So lock in, Chad, and then I think that this should be a close series coming up as well.
I'm fully expecting it to be a pretty close series. I do think that sometimes when you do have something more to fight for, you either it's going to be one of two things is going to happen. Either you're going to falter to your nerves, or you're going to tighten up your gameplay and really try to bring out the win, so then you can, again, Odium right now wants to secure that playoff spot for themselves. And if they're not able to here, at least with a win in this regard, they now have to wait and see the result of the series of Bloom Gaming versus Jet 2 Holiday, and they're going to be hoping that maybe they can get something done.
Yeah, and you never want to leave it into somebody else's hands. And the difference between going into
Exactly.
playoffs limping because you lost but got lucky, as opposed to beating the number one seed and getting in yourself on your own merit is two completely different things. As we can't talk enough about this matchup, let's just take a break from that and get into this draft. Is Strawberry Odium is going to be on the the blue side, and Dorado Gaming Signa on the red side. We get the Azir, Oriana, and Smolder, so 3 potential mid pick bands, and the Smolder Flex, and then Nami, Zahin, and Graves banned out by Sigma.
I think that these are some pretty interesting bans in regard to the fact that like they banned a pretty, like on Odium side, they don't want any potential like scaling for the side of Dorado Gaming, while it seems like Dorado Gaming is trying to ban any potential like early game sustain and or consistent pressure from like something like a Graves or the Nami being able to give that sustain in lane. But we do see here for these picks that Odium at first ended up going with the Ezreal, which tends to be a pretty safe pick for AD carry, but you got to be worried if a team like decides to go super tanky, where now we do see on the Dorado Gaming side they end up picking up the Aphelios and Thresh, which has been a pretty decent combo overall in the meta for maybe I want to say about a couple months now, and it's actually a pretty consistent, it's a pretty consistent pick down in that bot lane. Odium now responding with the Xin Zhao and Bard, which I kind of like in a sense, but at the same time I'm just still worried about where's more of the damage, because I don't expect Xin Zhao to be a damage carry, and this is what I was worried about. The tanks are starting to come out, the Mundo now being picked up for Dorado Gaming as we go into the second ban phase.
Yeah, but I love this for the bot lane because Bard is exceptionally good at roaming, right? Actually, he gets a lot of buffs for roaming, and that's part of his kit is to roam. And Ezreal, very safe ADC, as you said. Yes, Ezreal will have an issue dealing with the Mundo, but Xin Zhao with the automatic knockup on his third Q, the ability to actually shred HP percent as well if he lands his W. So like there is a lot, and he has his own sustain too. Like so like there's going to be like a little bit of a battle of sustain during these like 5 to 10 second fights, which is actually pretty long. And then that on top of the Bard being able to set up plays for him and everything else. What I don't want to see is like a Xin Zhao and then like a champion where they want to like really mesh them all together, because he kind of does the opposite of that. And we have seen a lot of drafts do that, where it seems like they want everybody in one spot, but then you get the whirlwind from Xin Zhao, and then the Bard ult misses or something crazy like that. So I do like the picks so far, and we're gonna get the Scion for Sigma. We are missing the 2 bands, but we do see the Udyr and the Akali band from Odium, which is awesome because we have seen Akali just kind of break Aurora's recently, which I would think the Aurora matchup is better, but we've seen a lot of Akalis beating up on Aurora's lately.
So what I really do like about this is I feel like in a way both these teams kind of have these almost the same idea what they want to kind of do. So if you look at it, Aurora can get around the map pretty fast. Like she's actually a pretty fast traveler as well as Bard. You're gonna start seeing, I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing a lot of mid support roams around the map together, and they start trying to influence the map in some way, so then this Ezreal doesn't have to worry about, because if a tank is behind, Ezreal can still shred through them as well. You also mentioned the HP shred from the Xin Zhao, and we do have this what can be a potential side lane pressure, and or if not, duelist with the Mbessa. So I think that the Odium squad right now does actually have a pretty decent composition, but then again, Dorado Gaming over here, where they do have the potential to respond with the Scion and the Taliyah, with the Taliyah ult, and then you got Scion's ult, which can literally just get them into a fight out of nowhere, and then for all you know, it's almost like having another set of teleports in a way, in that sense. So you right now we're looking at some pretty interesting composition picks. I think both of these teams are gonna have a hell of a game with this one though. And
I think Odium
really like
it on this one. Maybe a little bit too much in the pot at the time. We'll see. But yeah, Dorado Gaming, this is a extremely standard. You get the Scion top, the Mundo jungle, or vice versa, but we'll probably see the Scion top, the Taliyah in the mid, and then Aphelios is going to be that huge damage scale at the end of the game. And then Thresh also adds a lot of survivability for all these guys. Like if Scion or overcommits or Mundo gets caught out, you also have the Lantern, which is so understated, and it's such a great ability. And then the ability for him to add a ton of range to ganks from the Mundo as well. So like gap closing, things like that with the Lantern coming in. As we're about to get into here, we should see a standard 5-for-5 setup. The one thing is that Monoxia, they do spot the ward, so they shouldn't walk up into this brush and get the hook. But as Anti was saying in the chat, if the Thresh is not landing hooks, which against Ezreal it is a little bit harder to do than a standard ADC, then a lot of the so-called power from this bot lane is kind of negated. So I really do like this. The one thing though, Bard, little squishy, need to make sure that you are not taking unnecessary hooks and engages.
Yeah, and what some people don't realize that even in the early game, Aphelios with just even Red Gun can be kind of dangerous to deal with, especially with the sustain that he gets from it. So you don't want to just end up being hooked into Flay, into Red Gun Aphelios, and he's just shredding you down, and all of a sudden you're forced to flash and or barrier. So if you do, that's like you said, you want to have the hooks land. You don't want to get to a point where it's like, all right, we can only depend on Aphelios attempting to do damage in team fights if we can't start to get like this bot lane like taken care of, which we just see a lot of damage being dropped in the trades between the 2 mid laners there, and we do see the level 2 being achieved first actually by the Odium bot lane. So this is actually really nice because Loveless was able to get a little extra XP. He is currently ahead of Aphelios in the XP department, so it's just like, yeah, that kind of sucks that he didn't hit 2, so they couldn't really get that level 2 pressure on these squishy targets.
The wave is pushing. Yeah, the wave is pushing. They're going to be able to have a bounce back as the Mundo is coming down. So I think this is sort of fortunate. You don't want to over-engage, get them to
Right.
back off and then have your wave pushing away at the wrong time. So his wave will crash. It might have to wait for the next 2 waves for the second crash to happen. But Xin Zhao and Mundo are mirroring each other. We have seen a lot of this style here where you shove the wave as your as the Scuttle Crab at 330 is starting to go, as we can see the entire picture of the mid and bot wave here. Pretty awesome. As we get into this, like, we will see potentially the Bard and the Ezreal roam up to secure this Scuttle, and Sigma is going to have to be wary of that and make sure that they are not caught off guard. We might even see Mundo go straight from the from his Gromp over to the other side, but he does have a little prio on this Xin Zhao, and Talia does have the wave shoved in mid, so we might end up seeing the first fight here, or the first scrap, but no, never mind. He's just gonna get that. Xin Zhao, for some reason, I didn't see what happened, but his clear time got extremely slowed down over on his red side.
And okay, Yengu didn't end up seeing the Mundo here. He's gonna attempt to gank as he ends up handing the briefcase. Aurora able to go invisible, not gonna be able to continue any more of that engage. Even though it seems like Soul Ghost has actually been doing a pretty decent job dealing the damage. Cleo's now having to cancel his back as he needs to go help his jungler. Jungler wins the Q, goes in, tries to get the knock up onto Mundo as Cleos is trying to get a little bit more, not gonna be able to. A lot of damage, but both of these junglers now looking like they're gonna be able to fight over the crab. Guster, you might want to be careful. Yengu is hanging tight, and I think he knows it too. So he's probably just gonna try to get a little bit of reveal in the jungle as Yengu's able to secure that. Goes in, able to land, and Spoobert though comes to go ahead and avenge his jungler, but not gonna continue. First blood goes over to Yengu. Nicely done, and that was actually a pretty optimal stay.
Yeah, it was, and it's kind of interesting. I don't understand why Guster Posey did that on his Mundo, and I think, thank God for no mana, because otherwise that was gonna be Cleo's coming back into the lane with like almost no health. Would have caught a full Talia thing arc there, but yeah, a little interesting, I guess, would be the thing for Mundo to stay as long as he did. I think that Xin Zhao was pretty telegraphed in what his intentions were, and yeah, just maybe a little bit of a misplay. Once he realized that he had to concede that Scuttle, should have just walked away, but stuff happens, and then yeah, Spoobert actually probably would have died if he would have tried to contest that Xin Zhao on the back end of that too. A red-blue buff Xin Zhao is pretty strong, especially when matched on levels, as Guster trying to make up for this now, trying to get a little bit of pressure on this top side. That is going to slow his clear down by a little bit, and Xin Zhao might be able to get this quickly enough to get another gank off over on the mid side, and then move on, or set up this dragon.
Going in as Aurora attempts to get something down, but gets stopped completely. Not going to be able to use it. Still drops a lot of damage. The electrocute goes off. Solar Ghost, though, sticking close, trying to get something going. And not enough. We do see here that we're getting in the chat a couple of things there. Real quick though, Yengu now on this Drake here as they're able to secure the first one. Though the ult didn't really work, now Talia's not going to be able to come down, and they're not going to be able to do any type of possible contest. They do slay the dragon, and Yengu is ready to help fight with 6-7 down in that by the Drake pit. So we'll have to see here if anything else goes. Solar Ghost is pushing forward.
Yeah, and I think we're figuring this out as I think Sigma, we're having an issue with the teams and the logos and which team they're on. Odium is on the red side, similarly. So I think the graphics and the champions need to be updated. But we are getting a strong gank coming into here on the bot lane.
Yeah, and we're gonna see Solar Ghost gonna immediately get eviscerate 6-7, but he might end up losing his life at the same time. No, it's not. Yengu gonna be able to not get him, but Aphelios able to secure the kill on the Ezreal down on the bot side, and that's gonna be 2 kills going over to the red team right in that little exchange. Nicely done.
Yeah, and that is extremely unfortunate if you are on the side of Odium here on the blue side, because they just, like, that is just so, like, you had all of the momentum coming into that, right? Like, you get the first kill for Yengu, then you get the dragon, and you're like, okay, things are going well. Espada's doing great up in the top lane here, going over for the, just basically, clearing faster than the Mundo, getting good ganks or clears off, and then good fights. gets the objective, and then you just get a 4-man roam over to the bot lane. You just lose 2. And getting the Aphelios, that first kill, as he picks up a BF sword and a cull, is so huge because he is going to out damage Ezreal and be able to basically 2-shot him in the late game if he can land some of his abilities. So extremely scary if you are inside of Odium here, and you are going to have to deal with this late game Aphelios.
Yeah, that's not what you want to just see already as the Aphelios is starting to ramp up. I mean, he's only 300 gold ahead, but a BF sword is definitely a big chunk of damage to have early on at around 7.5 minutes. So he's sitting pretty at this current moment. I do see blue and white guns as they're trying to land. He manages the arcane shift into the hook, and that was either a sick prediction or a big mistake as he goes golden, trying to save himself. Red and white, you still can't fight him just early as Monaxia able to take him out. That's gonna be Bard eating the hook. Loveless, you're on the wrong side, and it comes out the true shot barrage, able to secure a double kill for the ADC, and that's gonna be absolutely insane. Monaxia, as we didn't get it though, solo kill off in the mid lane for Soul of Ghost. Yengu looking around, smells blood in the water, looking for the prey, flashes in, able to get the knockup, not even needed as he gets that revenge kill for his mid laner.
Yeah, and at least if you are on the red side, you are going to be happy about the getting the grubs at least. You do have a Scion. He is going to be a cancer push. In the top lane specifically. In the late game, will be a pain. But what a play from Monaxi and 6-7. They do such a good job. Like, they got caught. Like you said, like, the arcane shifted into the thresh hook, and then somehow to turn that around, I think a lot of damage was negated with the Bard ultimate, so that was amazing too, as we're going to catch the replay here. But yeah, so you just see this, like, arcane shifts into there. They do understand that they're coming in. Yeah, that was either, like you said, sick prediction, but here we are going to see that the Bard ult is going to come in and just negate a lot of potential damage from the red-white, and then you secure the flash away, and then somehow, with the ignite from the Bard, enough to get him. And then what a good play from 6-7 here on the Bard, is we're going to catch out this, as he takes the hook, we're going to catch this mid lane play here. Soul of Ghost on this Talia doing a great job. Gets the flash, predicts where the jump is going to be, and then gets the kill. And then, as we saw on the back end of that, you can't get away from his Xin Shao, especially when he has his flash up. So the audacious charge into 2 Qs was enough. There's another fight in the bot lane.
Yep, Mundo going in, gonna go through the magical journey, but they're still chasing down. Still got the red-white trying to fight, but actually on the killing spree, as they're gonna end up getting another kill. Yengu able to take out the Aphelios right there, as Solo Ghost and Loveless having to run away, as 4 members on the side of Dog able to keep chasing him down. Goes in to use the dash, gets hooked under the turret, might be able to play it shut down. Going over to Soul of Ghost, but unfortunately still gonna lose his life to the ult from the Aurora, and just trying to save him. It wasn't enough. Yes, they get a big kill and a big shutdown onto the mid laner, but right now Dorado Gaming still able to keep that lead going as the Ezreal 3-1-2.
Yeah, and I actually think that Loveless saves or turns this fight, like, on the flip side in the wrong way. Like, if we get to see a replay of this, I'm pretty sure that when he hooks 6-7 before he gets into the portal, that kind of sends Mundo in there on his own, and he, like, dies because of it. And the entire fight just kind of gets flips around. It's like they don't really know who or what they're going for. So it's kind of like one of those funny, weird, awkward plays where you're like, oh, and you just see Mundo just go in there on his own as Zinshao is trying to steal his dragon, but doesn't. But yeah, I mean, this Ezreal, Monaxia on this Ezreal has been out freaking standing between him and 6-7, just completely, overtaking this bot lane here and doing such a good job after that first 2 kills where they had 4 on 2 basically. This has been nothing but Odium's bot lane here as we get into this coming up here. So Monaxia, 6-7 doing such a good job, and this is more carry out of a bot lane that we've seen in a long time. In these series, it's usually just like the mid and the jungle or whatever, so it's nice to see such strong plays as
so much damage, almost able to get the kill, but not going to be enough. Cleo's able to get away ever so barely with their life.
Yeah, and this is such a good matchup into the Aurora. I think that we're starting to see a lot of matchups that Aurora is not, like, so great into.
Aurora ult gonna be a little too far up, and Yangu taking another kill. Gusser Posey can only show up so late and not gonna be able to do anything for him. That's so unfortunate. As we do see, though, Spoober up in the top side of the Scion gonna complete the top lane quest first, so he's gonna have a little bit of an advantage on top of a spotter right now on this Ambessa. But I don't think he's too worried, as Ambessa now just ever so much clears their quest as well.
Yeah, and you can tell that Ambessa knows. Espada knows that they're not going to be killing Spoobert, right? So what do? You grab the Cole, you get the extra, you know, you go into the later, like, so you can hit, like, a good mid-game spike here. And just as I was saying, that we're starting to see a couple matchups that are not good for Aurora. The Syndra being one that we saw, I think it was last week, or I either saw it on Monday when I was doing Titan with Caleb, or now the Talia. This is a couple times now that we've seen the Kalia into the Aurora, where it is just not working out for them in the one-on-one. But great use of Between Worlds twice now, once on the bot side and then just there in the mid lane, just enough to catch Solo Ghost out and do enough damage that you know, Yengu didn't really have to chase, was able to just kind of get the kill easily. And then now we're gonna see Ambessa a little
overextended with 3 members on the side of Odium right here, and they're about to take you out. It's ended up being 4 as Gusser Posey uses the briefcase and is able to secure that kill off in the top side. This is actually looking kind of good, that they're roaming exactly like how I kind of thought they would. You know, like, you got the Scion, you got the Talia, and now all these team members are moving up so much together. But unfortunately, you also just left alone your Aphelios, and now there's 4 members looking to gang up on him, and he can only do so much. He does have the flash, he does have the ghost. They're able to go ahead and ult Bardo onto the turret, but look at that. Love was absolutely able to save his AD carry as the hook's gonna go wide, but Solo Ghost trying to drop some damage. The dive successfully thwarted by the side of Odium, as they're still trying to see if they can take down some of the half health guard. Gonna go in, able to get the shove into the seismic rocks. Gonna do a lot of damage on the Manaxia, but not gonna be enough as Gusser Posey is coming down, chasing down Yengu, and they're able to pull him in with the flame. The Zinzao ulti gonna be able to come out as they're trying to do more. The box is dropped. The lantern drops to try to save Solo Ghost, as he's still trying to drop a little bit more damage, as this Talia is extremely powerful. Hook gonna be able to land on the 6-7. Gusser Posey able to take him down, as they're gonna be able to get Solo Ghost off on the back end. As Cleos is able to keep him in. Loveless having the flash out, gonna be able to try to get away. His domination is gonna be taken out by Yengu, and they're gonna keep trying to chase. That's a winnable fight for the side of Dorado Gaming. And they're still going for more.
Yeah, they are. I don't know if they're going to get this here, but this is just like one of those, like, we see, like, if they stay long enough, they can actually get something going, as that was just kind of like trade for trade. Yeah, Spoober just getting to the point where the Espada can't really damage them that much, and any return damage just can't be thwarted until they get the Sundered Sky or whatever sustain item they end up choosing. Should be that. Yeah, it's just going to go that way. But yeah, that fight, for one being extremely long, just great job initially by Domination to not get caught out under the turret. We see the Bardo that's going to start this off, does end up hitting the turret, but he just kind of like moseys around and just like gets out of it barely. And then we're seeing this on the back of the play here. Solo Ghost flash forward to catch out the Ezreal, but does not get the kill, and that kind of allows this fight to kind of keep going. We see Yengu actually blocking a ton of damage here from the outset with his ultimate, and then Domination only getting the 6-7 on that because the other 2 sort of got knocked away. And then yeah, this just keeps continuing, but I think at this point now we're just seeing that, like, the scrap power of these 4 is just a little bit more than what Odium can handle, and then you get, you know, Custer having to use the Mundo ult, having to flash away, and then Yenga just trying to get even more and more. So this mid-game team fight, you know, for the side of Sigma is just a little bit better, and we're starting to see it now as in the picture-in-picture. We're just seeing so much fighting in the mid lane, in the top lane, and we're gonna get back to the live action here now.
Yeah, that was an absolute scrap, and as it looks like they're trying to take the Rift Herald here. Yeah, they're gonna trade objectives. Yengu's gonna take the is gonna end up taking the Drake here for the side of Dorado Gaming, as Odium is now just trying to secure themselves here the Rift Herald. I guess this is a nice little trade. They're not too far behind. I'm not saying this game is definitely out of it for Odium, because they're only about 2K behind, which is not a surmountable goal lead for anybody to be behind at any point. So as they, you know, you get Spoobert starting to get tankier. You start getting Guster Posey starts getting tankier. And then you just have these big meatball tanks with the Thresh being that protective force kind of for the backline potentially as they're trying to catch someone out. You do have a lot of damage that's gonna come out from this Taliyah and from this Aphelios. So right now, Odium I feel like they could play the game a lot more patiently if they decide to slow it down here and just kind of be like, all right, we know we're kind of a little bit behind, but if we can just keep ourselves at a good pace that's like, hey, we're playing like we're from behind right now, we should be able to make something happen. I don't know if Yangdu knows. Oh no! Loveless not gonna be able to land it as the shove is able to go ahead and get onto Yangdu, but nothing else lands and he can just walk right out from that little skirmish. If that hook landed though, at least it would have probably forced out the ulti from the Xin Zhao and they could have potentially re-engaged once that was down. So yeah, that was absolutely insane as the True Shot Barrage almost ends up taking out the Aphelios there. And we're gonna see right now, Kleos is potentially looking for the kill in between the turrets. Guster Posey though and Loveless here to protect their AD carry and not give up any more gold, but they're gonna have to give up the mid lane tier 1.
Yeah, and we're starting to see how this mid-game Ezreal is just doing so much work, right? Like, yes, that Xin Zhao probably would have had to at least use that. I still think it would have gotten out. Spoober's kind of looking for like a little bit of a flank here, and I think they're going to try to go for something here. I think that Odium really want to get some sort of advantage if they can.
Oh, that's so unfortunate when it doesn't land onto anything. And that's the thing, you're trying to land it onto an Ezreal of all things. Like that's probably one of the people who have the more easier time of getting away from it, you know? But the hook's gonna land onto Kleos, it looks like, if they have to go invisible, trying to get away, uses the ultimate to bounce back, and that's a nice cooldown to have, especially when if you're trying to get a pick or trying to get a next fight. And I don't think they're gonna try to fight for the Baron right at 20 minutes. But you definitely want to be able, if you can catch the Aurora out again, especially when she's flashless, that's a nice little cooldown again. So yeah, nicely done right there. That was really well done by Loveless. Some of these hooks have been going a little wide throughout the game, but most of them I feel like have actually been pretty effective when they've been needed to be.
Yeah, they have, and that was a great use of Between Worlds as well, because you use it, then you walk forward, so you know, at least you do know that they have this. So we're gonna see if Mundo can pilot this. Come on, Guster! We're all cheering for him, rooting for him because he did it. He will. This is gonna be an easy slam into the turret. So there's gonna be 2 turrets now that you're basically getting off the back of that fight. Or that catch out on Kleos, because even though you didn't get the kill, oh no, Taliyah
Egged by the Bard ultimate, and you might have to use the flash trying to get away, has to use their ult themselves, but you might have just let Guster Posey over to their death. Not actually going to want to continue to go in, even though there's 3 members here. Thresh was heading down, so I don't think they want to have that potential of this fight going into like from a 3v2 to a 3v3, but now it is a 3v1 as 6-7 gets caught out, dragged down. Guster Posey gonna go on a killing spree. We do want to try to get more of these kills onto Aphelios, but I think getting the Mundo a little bit tankier to protect them helps just as much.
Yeah, I don't think that there's a bad champion to get these kills on. Loveless as well, the more CDR, the more times he can drop the lantern, more hooks he can throw out. Soul of Ghost, obviously, the damage dealer along with domination. But yeah, Aphelios is going to hit that point, and there's not really anybody that is extremely tanky on the side of Dorado. Kind of like, you know, the opposite can be said for Odium, where everybody's kind of tanky except for Aphelios. Kleos is kind of going to get caught here.
Oh no! Lantern drags him in, gonna have to get it, able to get the hook, dragged on the other side of the wall, but the Mundo doesn't care. The briefcase hits. That's a shutdown going over to Guster Posey once again, getting even more. Had to drop the ultimate to make sure he didn't die the turret, even though I don't think it was necessary. But hey, he did get it. So yeah, that's what he wanted. You're right, the move speed. I mean, at that point, you just like run Ghost instead of Flash on Mundo. I don't know. Who knows?
I think he popped it right before the briefcase, so he could get that hit. But yeah, that's almost the second time that Loveless's hook lands exactly where it needs to and almost saves him, pulls him into the outer reticle of the between worlds, and then like almost saves him. Is now
Espada caught in between 3 different people, gonna get the flay, hook, drag him back to Leah, trying to get this kill, unstoppable, gonna get the public execution to be able to go off in between 2 different people. Spoobert still trying to live. Is he gonna be able to at least take one solo Ghost though? Not gonna be able to get Spoobert out, gets that kill, and we give it over to Leah. Once again, Odium trying to make sure that they're able to stay in this game, but that's probably gonna be the objective of the turret of the Drake being given over to Dorado Gaming, putting them potentially on Soul Point, but I don't think they want to let that happen. The TP coming in from the bot side. side. Blue team gonna slay him, and he's going over the wall. Gonna try to at least distract two of them. The wall gonna drop his solo ghost, able to get the shove into the stones. Not gonna be able to do enough. Yangu trying to get away, and is he gonna be able to do so? No, shutdown going over to the Aphelios as the true shot barrage comes through. Monoxia able to go on a rampage, taking out Loveless. Not gonna be able to try to get away though, as the Scion continuing to chase him down. Might be able to get this kill. They want to try to give it to Aphelios, but not gonna wait for him. Gonna have to take it. Once again, the in-between worlds might not be able to save you this time. That's gonna be Cleos dropping, and an ace over to the side of Odium. They're absolutely still in this game, and they're really trying to take it.
Yeah, they are, and I think at this point, if you are Cleos, your next between worlds has to go the opposite way, right? Because they're just keying in on this. We're gonna see teleport coming in from the side, and he's ready to go. You know, they kind of plan this out. They know where they're going. Like, I really love this call that they were like, okay, we may not be able to get the dragon, but we are going to get the follow-up fight. We're going to be a 5-on-3, 5-on-4, and they get exactly what they want out of this. They use Talia Wall to break them off from escaping to the west. Yenga doing a good job of getting as much as he can here, but there is just way too much. And Monoxia getting this kill onto the Thresh is actually pretty big in the grand scheme of things, because you do need to get some sort of trades back if you want to stay in this. And then Cleos, like I said, every time that she's getting caught up, they just walk right past her. They know exactly where she's going, so you know, good job. A little bit of fun, like little micro game there between the two of them. But yeah, a little back and forth there. It does seem like it seemed like they overcommitted on the Ambessa up top there, you know, with their Scent 4, but then they were so quick to be able to just turn that over into the dragon, and so they were able to catch you know, Dorado Gaming on the backside of that. So Odium still doing well. They still have the more scaly team for the late game, so they're still in a decent position, and they actually, even though they're down on objectives, they have the gold lead, right? Like, so they have one more tower, so it is, you know, a 2k gold lead minus the tower, but they're winning some of these fights by numbers. It does seem though that when the numbers are even, or you know, as they're getting, like, the fights take longer, that Dorado has the better team fight matchup, and it's just going better for them. But yeah, if they can keep playing like this, and they keep making succinct calls like this, where they can make up for, like, okay, we lose the dragon, but we're gonna get the 3 kills on the back end, we're gonna get, you know, everybody going, then, you know, they have a really good chance at winning.
The solo ghost caught between two different members on the side. Monaxia gonna be able to get that kill on this Ezreal. He really needs it. That's absolutely insane. He thought he was gonna be able to get the flank, but not gonna be able to get it. The Bartle, he's gonna be able to land onto one of the members onto Loveless, but that's gonna be Guster Posey now being taken down. 6-7 gonna be able to take that kill, but now the rest of the team is gonna be able to chase him down, and that's gonna be it. Domination trying to go through the Hex Gate, not gonna be able to get it. As the public execution goes through, he's gonna suppress him down. Loveless trying to use the hook, but he's caught with 2 different members. Gonna use it to attempt to escape, but now the 4th one drops on top of you. Cleos gonna be able to take this, and that's looking like the Baron for the side of Dorado Gaming.
Yeah, and I love that play. The public execution on his spot, it holds it until the audacious charge comes in, and then make sure that the Aphelios doesn't have a flash to get out of there. So just a complete collapse on there. We'll see how this one starts, because it actually started with Monoxia sort of getting caught out, but 6-7 able to save him, and then just like a little bit of an over extension from the side of Odium to where they thought they had the number advantage, and it quickly turned out. And as we were saying like a couple seconds ago, when these fights are even and the longer that they go, the more chance that Dorado Gaming has to take them, and that's exactly what we saw there. So until this complete late game scaling happens, you know, how do you beat a scaling team? We see it all the time. Beat them before they scale, and that's exactly what Dorado Gaming is doing right now. And now that they're starting to move together, and they're not letting themselves get caught out as easily, we're starting to see that it's a lot harder for Odium to really get in here and get these tiny small advantages off the map.
Yeah, and after losing that Baron right there, that's just looking unfortunate, as Loveless is now being chased down by 6-7 and by Spada. Not gonna be deterred, as the Flay was able to help him get away with the combination of the briefcase. Yengu though, he is in the jungle, gonna hook the Gromp instead. So unfortunate. Now Yengu looking for that as he sees the opportunity to jump in, and Spada gonna be able to take out Loveless in between worlds. Gonna be able to drop. Guster Posey flashes out, gonna be able to get away. Now they still have the Baron buff. That's a kill over to the side, and right now they have to prepare. The next Drake is ready. and we're looking like it's going to be it's Hex Tech. Sorry, I don't know why the overworld is showing the showing Mountain Drake, as we do see the ulti comes out from Spoobert, not going to be able to land onto really anyone there or be of any use, and the Drake is looking like it's going to end up going over to Dorado Gaming, but they can't let this fight go. They can't let them fight. They can't let them lose this. They have to try to attempt to fight for something. True Shot Barrage going to land on the domination, do a chunk of damage, but Noxia is landing so much onto these members on the side of Odium, and it's actually chunking them quite a bit. Domination now going to be forced to back as the Xin Zhao, I believe, is doing the Drake, and he secures it. That's the Hex Tech Drake Soul going over to the side of Dorado Gaming. Now that's another buff that is given over to them right now. Odium probably looking down the barrel and trying to say, what can we do? Turret lost, Temper Fate gonna go wide and not land as the flash comes out from the from Loveless to be able to dodge it, and now they're trying to get into this mid lane here. We're gonna see, is it gonna go in? Is it gonna be enough? Spoobert taken down to about 1/5 HP, and he's not gonna get another hook to land. Loveless not gonna be able to land it when it's needed here, and so that's gonna be the mid tier 2 gonna be dropped. Half of the mid tier 3 dropped, and we're looking at a Drake Soul for the side of Dorado Gaming. This is absolutely insane for all that extended combat.
Yeah, and they've really kind of turned this game on its head now. Like, ever since they got that dragon and then they had that bad fight, they have not gotten caught out again. They've gotten the Baron out off of a collapse of their own, you know, and then, like you said, they get the Hex Tech Drake Soul, they get the tier 2 as Cleos potentially caught out again, and this is going to be flash for flash.
MVP Worlds trying to use the wall. Guster Posey, though, I think is not going to continue it. They're out. And right now, you kind of don't want to keep taking those kinds of you don't want to keep trying to press the unsafe play, the inefficient play, especially when you're right now about 3k behind, which isn't too crazy, but Talia gonna have to use the ultimate to try to get away from that 4-member jumping that they were about to do to him. Like, you don't want that. So I think right now what they need to do is just continue to turtle a bit. Yeah, these turrets are gonna drop, but if they catch somebody off their footing, or somebody does the wrong type of engage into the wrong member, like say Espada decides to public execution and all he catches is the Mundo, well, damn, if 4 members jump onto Espada, you just lost your Mbessa, who's actually been a pretty decent force in this game, I want to say, who's kind of been like a silent assassin in the sense of like, when they there, they matter, especially for some of the public executions that have been landed during this game. But right now, he's still getting a chunk of damage done to him by Solo Ghost, who on this Talia actually kind of freaking hurts. But I think Cleos being a little bit ahead hurts just that much more, or only ahead by level.
I think it's a matter of Cleos is just the raw damage, right? Like Aurora is just doing that raw damage. If they catch 2 or 3 people out, it's just so much more. Soul of Ghost, obviously, with as the fight about to break out.
Oh, wait a second. Here we go. That's going to land in domination, able to take out 6-7. They're going to try to look for more as the support is gone. We have the TP coming in from Espada, trying to help out a little bit more. The 4v5 is trying to see more of that damage. Noxia trying to land it as Solo Ghost is now chunked down to 2/3. Going to be able to flash out the public execution, get the hook onto him. The in-between world comes out, and that's going to be Guster Posey potentially losing his life. Yes, he is. He almost got away, but that ultimate was not going to save us. Noxia able to take that kill. We got the Scion ulti coming down, and Jengu's going to be able to take out domination, and still trying to chase the Scoober, trying to do something. Solo Ghost is going to be able to take out Mbessa. This is the double kill for Solo Ghost, and that's going to be the triple kill, though, for the Cleos on the Aurora. And that's going to be the ace going over to the side of Dorado Gaming, and that potentially could mean that could be the end of the match. Not that they're going to end the game here, but I think this just might be over unless some big miracle happens for the side of Odium right now.
They actually might be able to end here. There's 20 seconds left. They have a full cannon wave here. They are going to pop the... yeah, dude, it does look like they're not going to go for it here. I guess they don't want to overextend. It will be Thresh and Aphelios and Mundo coming back up, so they take the safe option here. They do get the tier 3 inhibitor, and then, yeah, they just do everything that they kind of want to here. After 6-7 kind of gets a little bit caught out here. Great sidestep from Domination to be able to reposition behind the Thresh here, and then their comp is working for them, right? Like, they have the tanks going forward here and staying in between the Aphelios and the rest of the Dorado Gaming side. But then Monoxia with these Qs able to just kind of get so much damage out. And now we see through with Cleos. Once the Between Worlds gets popped, there's so much AoE damage. They all line up and 4 members just take so much damage from this Aurora, and then on the back end of it, it's just way too much to deal with. Solo Ghost does get the kill onto the Ezreal, but you have a full HP Cleos and Yengo on the back end here. Xin Zhao and Aurora not about to lose to this, Spoobert, tanky, not tanky enough. A good finish, a good follow-up to that play. 6-7 did end up giving his life early on, but you know that's when you could just say, word, you know, because my team won, even though I overstepped a little bit. So good play by Dorado Gaming to make that work off of that call. And yes, you are correct. This is officially Dorado Gaming's game 2.
Wait a second, we just missed something here. It looks like that Monoxia actually ended up getting taken out there, and without all that damage, it's looking that the Odium's actually going for the Baron here. So wow, we actually had a nice little turnaround here, and this is what I mean by they just need some type of miracle. Now they're able to start closing that goal gap a little bit. Again, 3K is not an insurmountable goal lead to come across. And so right now, it feels like Dorado Gaming could potentially start to lose the scaling game. Once Ophelio starts getting that damage, once Talia has she's not even on Rabadons yet. So like we still don't even have the full power spike for Talia that's supposed to end up happening in this late game. We're 32 minutes in. So I'm thinking we're gonna get to that point where it's like, okay, Ophelios is at 4 items. Like,
yeah,
you have Talia now with the Rabadon's death cap. The Mundo here is tanky with actually a pretty late part steal and no Warmogs.
And this is also a Elder Dragon about to spawn here, so this could potentially be the game-ending fight here. No matter
Tempered
who
Fate
wins
gonna
this.
land onto Loveless. Loveless might be the first death of the fight as the box goes up. Monoxia able to secure that kill. Now it's gonna be a 4v5 as we do see Domination trying to get a little bit of damage off the top. Glass Cones over the wall, but gonna get publicly executed by Espada in between worlds. So much damage. Ezreal on a triple kill as they're going to continue to chase down Dorado Gaming, absolutely dominating the fight. Hasn't lost a single member. Spoober's trying to be the last savior, but it's not gonna be enough. Not taking enough. And that's gonna be Nessa taking the last kill. A clean 5-for-0 ace, and Dorado Gaming takes the game 1.
And public execution into our inside between worlds. That was so clean from the side of Dorado Gaming. Like just getting that out and the AoE damage that was put out there while Thresh was on and Sion was on the back end, not involved in that. Just huge. What a great call from them. They just take the fight. They recognize that they had it, and then as the casters or the production is kind of showing, like Ezreal's itemization is very anti-tank here. We see the 4,000 extra damage from the Borg. We see the 2,200 from the last Whisper. Yeah, the Lord Doms. And so just overall good win from Dorado. I thought that their composition was a little bit harder to pull off, but it also made a lot of sense together, right? Like the public execution in Bard and Between Worlds, or Tempered Fate, yeah, Bard all worked really, really well together. And then for tankiness, Yengu on the Xin Shao just seemed to pop the ultimate at the perfect time every time. When there was about to be a lot of Talia or Aphelios damage, he just was able to negate it, was able to stay right in between where his carries were and their tanks and their engage was. And it didn't seem like outside of a Thresh hook or just a collapse from the outside that Odium really had any avenue to do a standard engage, right? Like if there was just like 5v5 or we're nay ramming it or whatever, they didn't really have it. Whereas, even though you have the tools for it, you have the Scion, you have the wall, you have, Thresh, but it just never seemed to work. Whereas, for the side of Dorado, every time that they wanted to press something, they seemed to have a way to do it. They didn't have to do it in a sneaky way. They didn't have to just collapse around around an exposed member. So the team, the communication and the teamwork from both of these teams was great. I just think that the execution was just a lot cleaner from Sigma, and that last team fight just shows it right there.
And I'm gonna say, like, just to look, if you guys are looking at the stats on the screen at the current moment, unfortunately, I do kind of feel bad for Domination in this game, as they did about a quarter of the damage that the Ezreal ended up doing on the other side. And I think that's kind of more of the fact that I feel that the Aphelios didn't really get to be in many of these fights when it really mattered. And by the time that they did get to be in the fight, either both their tanks were chunked down to low health, or they were getting chunked down to low health by Cleos on this Aurora. So it was just, or getting chunked down by the poke of the Ezreal, which was absolutely, as we saw, the bonus damage even coming out from the different items that they built. And I was personally worried about the fact that Ezreal might not be able to do that. And when we saw the early kill go on to the fellas, it's like, okay, this is what Odium needs to keep doing. They need to keep pressing this forward, and they just couldn't be able to, close out on that, keeping that early game pressure that they ended up getting before. They weren't able to keep it as Yengu was constantly all over the map. Espada was a very great sustainable top laner and was able. It was like I said, that silent assassin in the game. What didn't seem like they were doing a whole lot, but then all of a
Yeah,
sudden you see these
0-2
public
until they weren't.
execution. Yeah, exactly. So then it's like, oh wow. And again, Cleo's actually doing a really good job on the Aurora, even though it seemed like it was more of a back and forth between the two mid laners, I want to say. If
It was
anything, those
more
are my
back
two
and forth,
standout.
yeah.
Those are my actually like my two standout players a lot. Honestly, between it would be like the two mid laners because they felt like the most even out of this whole game. So I want to just see. I think what's gonna have to happen for the side of Odium is just maybe honestly, the comp wasn't bad. I don't think draft was bad. I don't think either
Mhm.
one of these drafts were actually bad at all. I think they actually played a pretty even game in the drafts. It just might just be something, whatever happened in the game itself, like what caused the communication breakdown, especially after that one really good fight where it seemed like the game could potentially turn around for them. Where they also were getting really good picks that led to Barons. They
Mhm.
showed us there's openings for them to be able to win the games, even when they're behind the way they were. So I just want to see if Odium's able to just translate either playing behind into a win, or are they able to make or are they able to actually utilize the assets of their leads that they end up getting in the first like 15 minutes if they do have it. They have the potential to beat Dorado Gaming. They were able to see
Mhm.
some cracks in the armor for this Goliath. So maybe they'll be able to do something in this game too and be able to bring us to a game 3, which I'm pretty confident we're going to get a game 3 in this series.
I sure hope so. If game one is any indication, I really hope that there's not like a rollover or like Sigma just kind of catches its second win and goes through. I don't really care who wins the series, but I would like to see a game three between these two. I think it's awesome when you see this level of communication and execution between two teams that both played their comps pretty well. Domination, yeah, just wasn't able to really do too much in this game. So maybe putting him on something a little bit better as far as being able to really join. But that was just kind of what was happening towards the end of the game. And yeah, Cleo's getting bullied in lane and Espada going 0-2 in the beginning from ganks and stuff, shows a lot of tenacity. And, you love to see that out of these players. But Monoxy on this Ezreal getting caught out and turning every single fight, around after starting out 0-2 in the bot lane, like freaking like crazy. Like that was so good by him. And that was impressive to see. That's how you make your B1 pick work, right? Like
Yep.
B1 pick, and it turns out to be the highest damage or second highest damage just because Cleos has so much AoE, and then you make it work. So really, really fun game one. I'm really hoping that game two is just as fun, and then potentially game three. But anyways, we're strapped in for a banger. So don't go anywhere. We'll see you guys for game two in just a couple of minutes.
Right after this break. And welcome back once again to Titans Olympus. This is week 7, the week before playoffs. As you guys are seeing, we are bringing you the series of Dorado Gaming versus Strawberry Odium. And that was in a very, very intense game 1. Great plays being done on both sides. But we didn't end up seeing that it'd be Dorado Gaming that ends up taking the game 1. And honestly, it wasn't necessarily in the most dominating fashion, I would say. There was definitely some times where Strawberry Odium made themselves look like they were able to take this game, and I think that they might be able to do something with game 2. They just got to tighten it up a bit. What you thinking about it, Fel?
Yeah, I like if you were to just sort of like kind of read the room, or at least between like both of us, I kind of felt we were both on the same page where it was like anybody can win this at minute 30, right? It didn't really seem, but when it came to the 4v4 and 5v5s, obviously Dorado Gaming Sigma just had that like down, and it seemed like it kind of kept going their way. However, a lot of mistakes, a lot of either map awareness or just like I'm not in the right spot mistakes made by their members, and I think by like every single one between Yengu, Cleos, Monoxia, 6-7, Espada, like all 5 of them did have the a tendency to be at the wrong place at the wrong time, get caught out. Sometimes they were able to turn that into like a winning team fight, but just because you died and then your team like wins the fight after 4v5 doesn't mean that it was the right decision or you did the right thing. So there is obviously stuff to clean up from there. I don't know how much after a win you're going to be changing what you're doing or what your plan is, but they drafted so well into like what seemed like a very comfortable composition for themselves that I wouldn't be surprised if they kind of do something extremely similar here. I love the fact that their blue 1 pick actually was the carry of the game, and yeah, it just kind of went really well on the side of Strawberry Odium. I know I just went with a long analysis of that, but like for Strawberry Odium, keep doing what you're doing. Just clean up the team fights. Maybe draft something in your bot lane that's going to be a little bit more either giving agency to your other carry, Soul of Ghost, or maybe something that is going to be able to maybe create a lot of havoc on like Spoobert, because we've seen Spoobert completely take over games. So maybe draft something that's going to be very beneficial to him, and then have your bot lane kind of do what Dorado's bot lane could have done last game, which is just do what you're supposed to and not try to overcommit.
Honestly, and I think I'm scared that maybe Dorado Gaming was telepathically sensing what we were talking about, because during the break we were talking about the Ashe Seraphine being potentially something that could be picked up for the side of Odium to give them a very strong bot lane to be able to work with, and Dorado Gaming's like, oh nah, y'all not getting that. So we're gonna go ahead and see the Ashe, the Zir, and the Orianna ban by the side of Dorado Gaming, and with the side of Strawberry Odium is going to be the Graves, the Zahen, and the Nami once again. Espada now, or not Espada, but the side of the Dorado Gaming gonna be picking up the Yunara as their first pick. This time they really believe in their 80 carry after that last game performance, and they're believing that giving him another really strong carry again is going to be what they need here. But they're responding with another very strong late game carry for the side of Odium, with Spoobert going, or not Spoobert, but then picking up for domination here the Xayah and the Shen, another pretty decent global presence that they want to do. I really think Odium likes these global presences for their compositions, like, or having the ability to get somewhere really fast if shit goes wrong. So it's just like, oh man, we got to make sure that we have this. So the Shen is actually a really good pick there, but we do see a combo as old as time right here. They're gonna end up picking up the Lulu for the side of Dorado Gaming, and to finish off their first round of picks is gonna be Cleos on the, or not Cleos, but Yengu on the Jarvan.
Yeah, I think this is really good for him. He made very sound decisions on when to go in. Jarvan's one of those champions that can overcommit to certain things if it doesn't go well, that it's just, you're just kind of like but I think with the way that Yengu jungles, I think this is going to be very good for him. And then, yeah, the Lulu with the hyper carry. Yunara is one of these champions that can put out so much damage. Obviously, they did get, they ran through the nerf gauntlet a couple patches in a row. And I think that they're, where they should be. I think it's a very strong champion, has a lot of propensity to do a ton of AoE damage, even without a Runons. But then once you start adding stuff and you get the crits and you get the extra AP damage on top, like it just cascades, and then it just goes and goes and goes. And with the extra mobility that's given out, it's a really good champion, I believe. And then on the other side, the Shen and Xayah, they are going to end up banning out the Rakan on Dorado, so we won't see the Xayah Rakan. But they did. I don't think they were going for it anyway, so that's kind of like meh ban
Yeah.
in my opinion. They didn't ban out the Poppy, so I don't think that they wanted the Rakan. But okay, here we go. This is one of my favorite champs. We're getting the Mel on Dorado. We're gonna see Kleos on a Mel against an Ari, and outside of, I mean, obviously like the Ari charm or whatever, but like if they're able to reflect like a good Glacial Fissure and knock up like 3 or 4 members of the side of Odium, is gonna be awesome. So I'm excited for this one. This is a very good comp versus a very good comp. We're getting the Urgot, we're getting the Slobber Knocker up in the top lane, getting the Urgot versus the Renekton. Like this is such a good matchup. I love this matchup all over the place. The Shen jungle, by the way, is one of my favorites to do when I'm having bad jungle. You know, a couple bad matches in a row, I'll pop out the Amumu, I'll pop out the Shen, and then it's just like, okay, we're just on easy street. We get the level 6, turn everything around, and so I love this comp from Odium. I think that it's going to do them a lot more justice, especially with this bot pairing, than the Aphelios Thresh did. And of course, Dorado Gaming with another strong draft themselves. So strap in for a good game too, because this might get a little rowdy, and we might see a lot of kills and a lot of back and forth, just like we did in game 1.
And I do like seeing, we do have Odium fans in the chat. They are saying, let's go. We do have Vincent saying, let's go Odium. They do have the belief in this team to be able to eke out this game to win. And I honestly have the belief in them too. Game 1, they definitely showed some glimpses of even when, again, like I said, when they were behind, they were still able to make things work. And this is going to be very interesting to see how Odium ends up handling it now, as already Electric Pop being dropped onto Kleos. Solo Ghost already dueling in the mid lane. Once again, they were doing that in the same in game 1 too. You just saw the health bar, all of a sudden both of them are down by 1/3 of their HP, and you're like, wait, what happened in the mid lane in like the first 30 seconds of the game? And so I do like seeing that these two like to scrap, like they like to scrap, and it's so much fun just knowing that we're gonna probably end up getting like level 3 to a 1v1 in this game, like every time we always end up doing. So we do have the split screen here, as we do see up in the top side. Spoober is also somebody I've known that likes to kind of duel up in that top side, and all this Urgot should be pretty interesting. As I was just saying, he's gonna end up fighting. Espada takes a chunk of damage right there. That looks like it hurt. And so goes Kleos, both down to about 1/3 of their HP. This is actually hilarious. Once again, they are really trying to fight it here. Kleos trying to land the snare, gonna get the Foxfire, not gonna be enough. That is so much fun to just sit here and watch. And we do see in the bot side right now Odium being pushed under their tower. I don't think they're really too worried about it. You want Xayah to get to level 3 before she can really start doing the combat stuff. So that's actually okay. If they're, you know, levels 1 and 2, I believe the Lulu and Yunara will win, but then come level 3, we should see a little bit of difference change for the Odium bot lane. So they just got to make it to that point. Solar Ghost, though, they're having a little bit of duel. Gonna have the reflect. Flashes away, though. Oh no, I think that was a mistake. They were just preparing for it. That's so unfortunate. They had the ignite there and that auto. That could have been the kill. But Cleo's gonna end up using their flash. Solo Ghost loses theirs as well. But both teams not going to be able to secure that first blood for either side, either mid laner. That was absolutely an insane fight. Great reflect, though, from the Mel there to get the chunk of damage. But we do see Espada, though, being chunked down low. I think the first blood's going to go elsewhere. Hold on, the turret tanking it. He's going to get it. First blood to the Urgot, but he's going to return the kill to Espada. He said, you know what, buddy? I'll give you this one, but I'm taking the 100 extra gold. First blood over to Odium, but a return kill to the side of Dorado Gaming's top laner.
Yeah, and the double coal purchase here. I don't think that's exactly what that was. I don't even know if you could do that. Can you do double coal purchases in this season now? Because if so, that is absolutely insane. It's going to completely change how I play my game from now on. But yeah, that mid lane fight, I think that Kleos thought that the Flash Charm was going to come out, and I think that Solo Ghost messed up and had the Flash Charm ready to go, but it was on cooldown, or maybe thought it was, but it was on cooldown, as we're going to get a kill over in the mid lane, and now the jungler is fighting it out.
Yep, Yangdu trying to get something. He's waiting for Kleos to come down. Guts or Posey gonna go ahead and jump over the wall. We're gonna have a little bit of a delay here, guys. It looks like, oh no, we're back. Here we go. Okay, still chasing him down. 6-7 gonna be able to chase him down. Guster Posey trying to taunt, get something, and not gonna be enough. Flag and drag gonna land, and that's Yangu getting the kill. 3 kills right now over to the side of Dorado Gaming, and they're already trying to take this game into their hands. They don't want that game 3. They don't want to have to worry about this series being on the line, and they want to secure that first place, and they're trying to show it real early in this game.
Yeah, and I think we're gonna get a look at this mid lane play. Yeah, we are. So Soul of Ghost obviously gets this off here. Does get the engage, does get the charm. I actually thought that it was gonna be like a Cleo's reflecting the charm, but once you kind of blow your load on Ari, there's not a lot of like follow up. And Mel is one of those champions that can, like, from an early point on, the Q and the E is on such low cooldowns that I think that, like, you know, you can sort of like use that to your advantage as long as you don't take too much upfront damage. And then Guster Posey trying to get the Shen taunt. I mean, everybody saw that, but then Yengu getting in there with the Flagon Dragon, actually taking that kill, pretty good. And then yeah, I think if we are going to say anything for this one, I want to see Guster either ulting on cooldown Spoobert and him going in on a Espada, or just start sending a lot of attention up here, because Spoobert is one of these players that we have seen completely take over not just games but series. We get him going here and the next game, you know, so taunt gonna miss. So I do want to see Guster start to you know, send some resources up top, get your super strong top laner in there, and yeah, I guess you can double call.
So we learned something new today. Double call ends up working. Does it work for ADCs? If that's the case, yeah, you're right. Everything's gonna change. Anyways, as we do see that the passives are ticking, so I guess it does apply in that sense. You know, I might have to ask Spoob, like, hey, what's this tech that you teaching us? As Loveless is up in this top side, if they're not gonna send the Shen, they're gonna send the Braum. And I think that was actually a pretty decent timer to be on, as he does go in, flips him over. Spada though gonna be able to dash out, as they're able to get the one concussive blow, and he's looking for more. That's not going to be enough. The slice and dice was enough to get him away. No need to have the flash, but we do see Yengu here on this Hex Tech Drake. Guster Posey is looking at him, though. They don't know he's there because he does have the vision ward. The flag going to drop. Guster Posey there waiting for somebody. Domination is trying to flank from under. We're going to see the taunt land onto Yengu. He's trying to go ahead and get away. Guster Posey, though, now surrounded by 3 different members on the side. Flag drag going to get it. Then that's going to be Cleo securing that kill. And they're still trying to keep this Drake aggro. They're trying to get the health down. But Loveless and Solar Ghost are here. Let's see if they're going to be able to help with this, and it's going to be a nose. Domination trying to land the damage. Solar Ghost, though, going to be able to secure 6-7 with the Bear Watch, and they're going to be able to get another kill, as Yunara is going to also drop Yengu, having a flag and drag over the wall. Going to use the last charge of the Spirit Rush to try to get him. Going to use the Foxfire for the speed boost. Able to land it, and the suppression into the maw of Spoober, as he's going to be able to take it in. Cleos is going to drop the Domination. So many well spread out kills for each different member of the carries for the side of Odium. They are absolutely loving to see that happen for them in this game, as the Espada just says, you know what, I'm just gonna proxy at this point, man. I just saw what went down.
Came from absolutely nowhere, and I love this. I love that Yengu is able to sit on this dragon. Unfortunately, you know, for the side of Odium, but Yengu doing a good job staying on the dragon, staying kind of out of damage range from Domination. 6-7 doing a good job, just like last game, of, you know, spacing themselves out and just keeping everything. But Solo Ghost here coming in on the Ari, able to get over with the Spirit Rush, get that charm down, and then just start lining this up, and it goes like 1 for 1, and you're like, okay, cool, they're going to turn it around. Good job. Yengu at least gets the dragon, but then now they're going to die, and instead, you know, as he's trying to get out here, like, this Spoobert ult's just coming through here, Fear Beyond Death landing right onto him, and then jumping on top of the Rom at the same time, and then cleaning up the mid wave, and then going back upstairs, or back up the top lane to get that. So that is absolutely crazy back end play, but we did see this a lot in game 1, where the objective would go to Dorado Gaming. They would maybe get a kill or 2, and then, you know, Strawberry would end up, you know, with the overall more kills on the back end of these plays. But they cannot let that just keep happening, giving away free objectives. So I do want to see maybe a little bit more out of Odium as far as the getting ahead of these objectives, so that they can not let the game get completely out of hand with the Dragon Soul and you know, and then the first Baron going over. So will be good to see if they can you know, kind of staunch this after that first dragon and start to pull these fights in a little bit better. Okay, so you buy 2 coals, but you don't stack the payouts.
So he's
Okay.
but it looks like it's not stacking up the extra 1 gold that he's been getting. So maybe this was completely pointless. That's unfortunate maybe for Spoober. I'm not sure if maybe he gets like, does he get like the additional like maybe life steal on it?
It's like
Or
3 per hit. Yeah.
yeah, like does he get, is that like, is it helping him somehow sustain into these fights against Espada, who decided to drop the dominance, slice and dice, able to get the stun, but not going to be able to really take down Spoober, especially with Solar Ghost traveling up. They're looking to try to bait him into the fight. They're able to get the Void Grubs here, and I think Guster Posey actually has the ulti, so if he wanted to, he could easily bait a fight here onto Espada and then just go up to this top side, start getting Spoober more ahead as he slice and dices in. Doesn't look like the ult was dropped there, just the shield from the dash. I'm waiting to see if he's gonna go back in again. Like, it's tempting. As we do see, though, we're gonna have the gank going into the mid lane, as it's gonna be Guster Posey trying to land on the Cleos, and now we do see the Cataclysm dropped, and Solar Ghost gonna be taken out by Yengu. He just had to dunk on him.
And that's missed flash taunt. So like you lose style points as well. So not great for Odium mid laner here. They did have a lot of prio in the first game, but this game has been all Cleo so far. This Mel is just putting in so much work. And just doing a good job into Soul of Ghost Starry. I do think that once these team fights start, if Soul of Ghost can kind of like get a good push and then they'll get the numbers advantage, that is an avenue in. But just right now, Cleo's doing such a good job, and we saw last game when they played from so far behind what they were able to do. If they can kind of do this now, and actually get a lead, it'll be interesting to see how they can play on this Mel and how they can affect the rest of this game as the game goes on, because they were definitely a bright spot in game 1 towards the end after being so far down. So it'll be interesting to see here if they can, kind of make this happen as Spada and Spoober trying to do a little bit of mind game into, this turret range and stuff that goes in.
Yeah, that's gonna be a chunk of damage dropped onto a Spada there from Spoober. Yeah, you really don't. The Phage and the Kendall Gem just enough from Urgot just to make him feel like a force. As we're gonna see the concussive blows being dropped, the ult being done by the Yunara, gonna utilize some of the extra damage from the extra damage plus CC from the domination to be able to stop Yunara from going any forward. That's the ult drop by Yunara. Now they have to stack their Qs, and that's gonna be the Glacial Fissure not landing at all, and that's just so unfortunate. We missed that ulti. Yengu is here, but they do know that he is there, so they're not gonna have to worry about it. Shen can go ahead and back because there's no reason to be pressing up, but I think Yengu now knows this too, so he's not gonna continue the lane gank potentially, but he does have potential to go around and come through from the tri-bush and make this tower dive potentially work. So we'll see what their options are down in the bot side, as it looks like that's what they might be doing.
Yeah, I hope they don't tower dive here, because you do still have a Shen ult that is available, and once that Stand United comes through, like, yeah, on top of that as well.
Flag drag, able to land onto Braum, have to do the Unbreakable to be able to get it up and get them away from him.
Ooh,
nicely done. Oh, and then we unfortunately ended up missing, but the solo kill gonna go over to the Renekton up in the top side as Spooberg ends up going down, and we thought that this Urgot had it, but it seems like maybe Espada knows something that we don't, and it's gonna be this Drake once again potentially going over to the side of Dorado Gaming. They're getting these objectives fairly well. I mean, the Void Grubs did go over to the side of Odium, but Void Grubs is not the Void Grubs of past, so it doesn't feel as useful. But we do see Mel landing so much of this damage, able to drop that, able to dodge out on the charm, but it's not going to be enough in the ult damage to be able to get her to die. Obviously, there wasn't in the execute range. I was surprised that they ulted there. I think they were just trying to get him to back off.
Yeah, this is way too much priority that Mel has here, especially without Shen being able to do much. But we have seen when Shen goes into the mid lane, it just blows a flash and loses anyways. We're going to see what happens here. Dominus, Golden Meek, everything landed perfectly by Espada, and then using the minions as a good buffer here, and then just a little bit too much damage, as it was close, but just couldn't get him into the Fear Beyond Death execution range, or he had missed it, one or the other. Seems kind of weird because it went on cooldown afterwards, so I think that he hit it but then just kind of missed it on the back end. Is this deja vu, or
we might end up seeing it? Wait, there's no way. Did we just rewind? Because this fight is looking kind of familiar. We do see the Stand United getting dropped, gonna miss the Fear Beyond Death, but they're gonna try to get the taunt, gonna force the flash. Did he hit it? I didn't see the indicator under him.
Oh, maybe not. It did look like he was slowed, but maybe not.
Oh,
Now
flag
Guster's
drag.
kinda
Guster
caught out.
Posey went the wrong way. Should have went towards your turret, buddy. Instead of your jungle, they're gonna chase you down. And Spada waiting for the slice and dice. Gonna flag and drag right back over to the Baron pit. They're trying to continue the chase. Ari needs to start walking up, but not going to, and instead Kleos is going to be the mid laner that had the priority first. He's trying to go back over the wall. They're going to chase him down. And Spada now on a killing spree, and that is Dorado Gaming sitting at about a 1k ahead
Still
now.
smart play.
And this is still absolutely insane. Kleos having this pressure in this mid lane and not allowing for Solo Ghost to be able to travel up in that moment to try to save their jungle is very interesting. I mean, I probably wouldn't have gone up if I kind of just assumed that my jungler was dead, but it seemed like maybe they could have potentially tried something there between the top laner and the mid laner. But now the ult gonna land onto Monoxia, but now he's chasing him down, gonna utilize the Yunara ulti, trying to get away. Shield drop from the Lulu, rooted down, domination, putting a lot of damage. Heal gonna be used. 6-7 continuing down the chase. The laser gonna end up landing down, but he found the Lulu. Lulu might have lost their life, gonna have to utilize the flash. Yengu coming down to try to save this back play. Going a flag, drag, drop, cataclysm, uses the ultimate, drops the feathers in the opposite direction. Domination now not going to be able to utilize some of that extra damage. They get out alive, but they possibly could have taken at least one kill off on that end.
Yeah, did good job by 6-7 here baiting that out. Sit there with no health as a Lulu, your E is already on cooldown. Good job, almost gets the kill for it there. And then yeah, I absolutely, you know, I don't know why Guster ended up going that way towards the river. The scuttle was already gone. They knew it, and then kind of just gets caught out. And then Espada and Yengu just chasing him down there. But we do end up, he does end up doing the right thing there, which is not giving the kill over to Kleos. As in the mid lane during this picture-in-picture here, we do see that the Guster does end up getting the shutdown on Kleos. I'm sure they would have wanted Solo Ghost to get that, but any way you can shut this Mel down here. But yeah, just these long extended fights are basically now always going to go Renekton's way until maybe like another item or two come out for Spoobert on his Urgot. So in a little rough place. I don't know if that is double
He's
pull
dropping in. Espada gonna be the dominant, trying to slice and dice, get the stun onto the Braum, but he's caught in the middle of 3 different members. Fear Beyond Definitely taken down, shut down, going over to Spoobert as he's gonna put him in the maws of, he's gonna put him into the maws of the Urgot, and then looking for more. Gets the ward, able to find Yengu in the tri-bush. He's gonna be able to get the concussive blow passive. He does, so he can't flag and drag away. He flashes, able to get it because it lasted just long enough, but now Lulu looking like the next target. They're trying to land more onto him, not going to be able to get it. That was a good pick fight and a big shutdown given over to Spoobert. So this Urgot can continue this power force as the Spirit Rush going to be used, trying to wait so they can land the charm, and that was very smart to wait there. Mel can't do no more. Solo Ghost getting that solo kill.
Yeah, Solo Ghost starting to get to that point where they're doing the right thing. They're able to bait out the shield. The Q. What are you going to reflect? You're going to reflect the Q, or are you going to reflect the charm? And it's so hard to time that as Mel. And Kleos up to this point has done such a good job of winning all of these 1v1 duels against Soul. But after dying in the mid lane and Soul finally catching up on items a little bit, we are starting to see that that he hasn't lost his fingers. So he's right back to kind of where he was with the Malignance now completed. He's able to kind of win these extended trades against the Mel because now he's caught up in timers and everything else with his abilities. So it'll be interesting to see. I do think that Kleos just ended up, spending like 1,000 gold there. So we'll see if the itemization is actually going to make that much of a difference. But yeah, we're starting to see also in the bot lane there where, another fight breaking out.
Yengu is caught in between 2 different members, but 6-7 and Spada able to catch him out first. Domination there to be able to be back up. Loveless dropping the Unbreakable as Kleos is trying to get something. Spirit Rush right off the cooldown, waiting for it. Yep, that's where it goes. Misses the charm though, going in the wrong direction, looking for the prediction, but it's not going to be enough as Domination is going on a killing spree, able to take out Mel there. The Xayah is now getting online. And it's going to be very difficult if she's able to get to that late game status at a much earlier death. Yeah. This is something this is actually something I like to see right now from Odium, even though like they're not giving up. They don't give up. And I really do like seeing that they just keep pressing forward. I mean, I guess so. Oh, never mind. We're good. We're right back to the game. What I really like from Odium is that they do constantly keep fighting, even though like sometimes they're not the most opportune position. They are able to just like press for that fight, and this time it led to them being able to get the dragon, now completely stopping the dragon stacking from Dorado Gaming, so they're not able to get to an Ocean Soul extremely quickly, and that's the last thing you need with this additional sustain that will potentially be coming from Renekton. Now Lulu will have an easier time keeping Yunara alive. So I think a lot of this is going to come down to the fact that Odium just needs to keep getting these like little picks, if not getting these optimal fights. We got Guster Posey now able to find Monoxia, not going to be able to land the taunt, but it might just be enough as he keeps blocking out the autos. Loveless now trying to be there to be able to help out his jungler, but there's a lot of damage being dropped with the Pixie flag drag, going to go into a Cataclysm, able to dash out of it. He's going to have to use the Braum ulti to be able to go ahead and stop, and I don't think they're going to be able to do any more. Monoxia did also use their ulti there, so that's just going to be the rest of that fight. That was nicely done by the Braum to be able to save their jungler from going on anymore. The best part about this, though, if they try to engage this fight, because the Shen can immediately just be like, hey guys, Naruto hand signs, I'm on the way.
Right now too.
Where actually it might just happen. Scoober is trying to help and stop this Rift Herald from being taken, as Cleos is going to be able to take out Solo Ghost off, and another solo kills. The Rift Herald now secured by Dorado Gaming, and is going to be a Spada caught in the middle as they're trying to get more. Scoober dropping in. I don't know if he managed to land the Fear Beyond Death. He did land it this time, but I don't think he got the timer. Is he going to be able to drag him? No, but Scoober doesn't need it. He still gets the kill. Now it's going to be Loveless, able to land a little bit of damage onto him, get the slow concussive blows, uses the ult on themselves with the Wild Growth 6-7, though not going to be enough. Domination now on the Rampage, able to take him out, and it's going to be Yunara not being able to do too much else from the back line. Only got the Kraken Slayer.
Yeah, and the entire time we did get Cleos on a solo kill, so we are starting to see once again these mid laners wanting to scrap, going back and forth and getting kills on each other, just farming. And this is such a good matchup between these two, because no matter what, we are getting that. So yeah, he does get the Fear Beyond Death, but now, like you said, the timer does end up going out. The blast forward, not enough to get on top of him, and the spot is just enough as like right there it comes out. And then on the bot side here, we're starting to see Loveless and Domination really start to get together, and this Braum is doing so much damage. Or so much control for Xayah. Like every time that Loveless is involved in these fights, like he's either blocking so much damage on the forefront of it, or he is doing such a good job on the back end to either re-engage, disengage, like whatever. So I do like this so far.
You might be in trouble. You can't. Wait, did he reflect the ulti? I think he reflected the ult. It looked like the indicator for the ult was actually on Urgot instead of Cleos, and then the ulti from the Golden Eclipse, able to drop, execute him. That was absolutely well played by Cleos right there. Oh wow.
Yeah, that is so clean from Cleos. I think we're gonna get the replay here. So a good engage from Spoobert, and you would think of 14 to 13 plus you're a juggernaut, like you're ready to go, you're ready to fight, and you think you have this. There's so many things to actually yep, there it is. There's so many things that you can do that should win this, but Cleos, great timing on the W there to reflect that back and hit himself, and then use his own ult. As,
right into the middle of a fight, Jengu is just going to immediately drop the Guster Posey, and they're going to continue to chase Spirit Rush going in. They're trying to find Monoxia. Not going to be able to do it, though. Spada is going to be able to take out the Ari. Monoxia is going to be able to take out the Braum, and they're going to continue with down, though, domination in the Urgot. Gonna be able to continue this chase. Monoxia is really low HP, but the Spada not gonna be able to possibly get away. Can they get one more slow onto him? The slice and dice might just be up. Lands a slow, able to get the damage, and he says, I'm just gonna be the sacrificial lamb. You need to get away, Yunara. And that's gonna be going into the maws once again of the Urgot, and that's Renekton being dropped. Right now, Odium looking real good in this game, and it's actually looking like pretty even this time around, even more even than game one.
It is, but now it's this time it's Dorado Gaming, which are the ones that are taking the onesie twosies, and it seems like every team fight is kind of going Odium's way. So I think there's just a little bit overcommitted to this play in the mid. You do get the Rift Herald, you get the teleport, but then Guster going a little bit deep here, but not as deep as the Mel, as just. I don't think that they realized that Guster had come on the backside of the flank here. And then good job, from Yengu, but an even better job from Guster to just kind of get into the front there. And look how much damage is blocked out by Loveless here. That is a fully stacked lethal tempo Yunara just throwing everything that they have, and all of it is getting blocked. And even though, you know, Espada comes in late on this team fight, so does Spoobert, and it seems like whoever arrives latest is the one that is going to win these fights. At least that's kind of how it is now, is we're about to get another fight over for Baron. So as soon as the analysis is done, another fight starting up.
Oh yeah, they don't want to stop fighting, and I absolutely love the fact that they're not gonna stop. And this is actually something big to fight for. Once again, it's an Ocean Drake. Stacking up Ocean Soul will be absolutely insane. Solo Ghost trying to come off the flank to try to using the Spirit Rush to potentially get himself some kind of target. Drops a ward to see what they can get the charm onto the Lulu. A lot of damage dropped. Lulu having to use the shield on themselves, but it's gonna be right now in the fight of the Dragon Pick. Gus Posey trying to get in. The Glacial Fish is gonna be dropped by Loveless. Spoobert gonna be able to get the Lulu off on the backside. His Domination is gonna be able to go to Dominating, taking out the jungler. This is now a secured fight, a secured dragon, and so much more for the side of Odium. Yes, the Golden Eclipse comes out, drops Urgot, but is it gonna be enough? Cleo's able to barely get away. Espada trying to get away as well. The one fight and objective for the side of Odium, and I think they're also looking at the Baron as the next one as well.
Yeah, this might be a bad idea. Kleos is still pretty full. I mean, they're full on mana and they're like 2/3 health. They don't have a teleport to come in, but if they do make the call for this to go in, you can send a Spada in on this Renekton to just try to soak up as much damage and take as much time, and then just have Mel on the back end. But yeah, great job, you know, overall by Odium on that last fight to just sort of like collapse on them, right? Like they catch the Lulu out, and the Lulu is enough for Spoobert to get the Fear Beyond Death, get inside, and then get 2 fears off, and then it's just so split up that there's not really much they can do. And now we're getting to the point where Shen is super tanky. Urgot is pretty tanky. Braum, obviously, with, you know, now that he's level 11, is going to be blocking so much damage. And so with Domination playing this well on this Xayah, which is a lot better than what he was doing on the Aphelios last game, like, they're just, it's like a completely different team. And you see what happens when Domination is able to get in there and do, you know, what he's supposed to do, which is, you know, his damage and stuff. Although Kleos gets that kill on the back end, that is the second dragon in a row going over to Odium. The tempo is completely changed into their favor. They now have the Baron. They got the 1-3-1 split going, and this could be that is probably more than likely the turning point of the game. And if another fight goes poorly for Sigma, which it's potentially about to right now, this could be the end of the game for them.
Flash gonna dash in, not gonna be able to get the grab onto it, but Spirit Rush onto the Lulu, misses the charm. Wild Growth comes out, and they're trying to get more. That's gonna be the Mel attempting to deflect the Urgot ulti, still gonna land on the Lulu, but not low enough damage to get the execution there. Blue team, or not blue team, blue turret is gonna be destroyed as Dorado Gaming now mid-tier 2 is gone, and they're looking at this top tier 2 to use the Baron buff to try to get these minions called in. Kleos, though, I don't know if they're expecting this, but there's 4 members looking to jump you. The charm lands. That's gonna be so much damage, dropping the reflect though. So well timed to be able to get so much of it, but Gus Posey going on a rampage is able to secure the rest of the kill. And now this turret is looking like the next target for the side of Odium. Odium able to keep this game going. This is the difference that you see. An absolute 180 game from Domination at this moment as Espada attempts to go in, but they can't catch this Xayah. They can't be able to kill this Urgot at the moment. It's just looking like absolutely hopeless right now for the side of Dorado Gaming as these minions just keep barreling in. Espada looking for something. Yunara trying to look for something. Another tier 2 drop for the side of Dorado Gaming as they continue to barrel in. This Canyon minion just gonna keep dropping the damage onto this tier 3 turret, and the side of Odium is finally saying we gotta back off. They do have the Mel coming up in a couple seconds. We don't want to give up any extra gold that we do have. I believe Domination right now is currently on for a perfect game. I think they're saying it's about 7-0. So you don't want to give up those big shutdowns. You don't want to give any potential comeback for the side of Dorado Gaming, especially when you're sitting about 5k up. You want to keep this going, and this is what we wanted to see from Odium in this game too. Absolutely throwing the punches right back at Dorado Gaming, and they want to keep their playoff berth alive, and they're showing it. 6-0 and 5 Xayah, and even though it doesn't seem like it's effective, this 2-4 and 10 Ari on these constant flanks has been absolutely insane. And then, as someone pointed out, the charms have been great too. And someone also pointed out Urgot flanking from the back constantly and just getting into these fights where he needs to be. He wants to be this raid boss in the middle of the whole team, and he does it so well, especially when he's able to get these fears off of his ulti. It's so insane what Odium is doing, and this game feels so much more Odium favored, as you're saying. It's like it's more the onesie twosies now for Dorado Gaming, where the big team fights really matter though. It's all for Odium at this point. So we're gonna see, like, honestly, even though it's only 28 minutes in, I wouldn't be surprised if we end up getting potentially closer to the end of the game, or it being like, okay, this is the guillotine that cuts the Dorado Gaming head off for game 2, if in the next big team fight, which we're looking at right now, could potentially be within the next 30 seconds, if not within the next 10 seconds, because Spoobert sitting in that brush, waiting for the opportune moment to be going, as we do see 3 members on the side of Odium sitting there at the bot tower. It's going to be Spoobert now, able to find Monoxia, not going to dash in. They're really wanting to make sure they can't do it. We have the TP, I believe, coming in from Mel, trying to get ready for this fight. This is a scary fight to do. Flag going to give vision, but Glacial Fissure going to land onto Mel. Dragon has spawned and they're looking for it. Not gonna land the damage onto Jarvan, at least not as much as you want. They want them to come into them, so they said, you know what, you guys want the Drake, we're gonna take this turret and start just pushing down your mid lane.
Potentially tier 3 as well
They
here.
could.
But they can't stay too long. They don't want to get caught out. They are on the losing side of these fights. So we'll see what ends up happening. But yeah, good call. You're not going to get that. You're especially going into, no vision. But here's a chance for them to catch out Spoobert.
Caught in the middle. Cataclysm is going to be able to drop on in the middle of 4 different members. Oh no, the Urgot going to drop in. Monoxia able to take that kill. The Shenalt was also used, and it wasn't enough to be able to save Spoobert, and that's a big shutdown. That actually wasn't a shutdown, but that's a big ultimate that's now dropped, and that's also going to be Spoobert now down for the next 40 seconds.
Yeah, it is. And the Stand United is down as well. So there is not going to be any saving Xayah. There's not going to be any cool flank with the Shenalt coming in either. So big play from Dorado Gaming. You miss out on the Dragon. That's the 3rd in a row. You don't want the tempo to keep going this way. However, if you are going to miss certain things, it's okay if you're going to catch the Urgot on the back end. If you're going to get a shutdown here and there. If you are going to be able to get a turret and some sort of objective. So just like in game 1 where Odium was not giving up, Dorado's not doing it either. And they do still have the potential to, win these fights. They just have to get a little lucky. They have to get a really strong Mel reflect. They have to get them to maybe get Odium to bunch up when they shouldn't be, and you get a good EQ from the Mel on the outside. Some sustained damage from Monoxia, and the later that we get into this game, the more the Lulu is going to impact us, especially with the champion like Yunara. So there is a lot to be gained on the back end here. This game is not over by any stretch of the means. It is, or by any means, and it is only a 4K gold lead. And the later that we get into these games, the gold lead matters less and less, because now it's a difference between a 10K gold lead is like half an item. Is now Yengu trying to jump in.
He flags and drags, gonna be able to land the feathers onto his spotter, dropping him down to about 1/3 HP, pops the dominance to get that little bit of extra HP, doesn't land the charm after the spirit rush. That's all the charges down. That's at least 1 ulti gone, 2 ultis gone onto the field right now, and they're still looking for more as they do see the fight, uses the spirit rush to dodge to the side, doesn't land the charm. Once again, the W now though down for Cleos, so they are unsafe. Loveless ghosting, trying to find somebody, lands the couple blows onto one person, but not gonna be able to do it as the Cataclysm comes dropping from behind. Loveless probably gonna drop. Solo Ghost actually dropping first. Golden Eclipse comes out from the Mel, not gonna be able to get the execute onto anybody, as the resurrection is gonna come out from Yengu as he's looking for more of a domination. He's currently godlike, able to land the root on the 3 different members. His spotter trying to go in, trying to get somebody's Spoobert, also helping out though as they're destroying the turret off on the bot side. He comes up, double kill, going over to domination as he's able to take out Yunara, and that's gonna be the fight dropping over as a triple kill to the to the Xayah here. And domination absolutely dominating this game. This is what you need from your ADC. This is how they carry, and that is going to be a tier 3 dropping for the side of Dorado Gaming, and potentially the inhib as well. That's so unfortunate.
Honestly, it's only Jarvan left, and this is, like you said, this is the response that you wanted, but this is also, Loveless is the most selfless person on this map right now. Guster kind of going in a little bit too deep here, but
try to get him, able to get the knockup from the Wild Growth onto Loveless, but are they gonna be able to do it? No, they can't stop him. Yengu trying so hard, but they're gonna try to pad the stats real quick. Yengu almost taken down. Gonna miss the fear beyond death. Not gonna be able to get it before game end, but we're going to game 3 in this series. Odium takes game 2.
Dude, that Braum was absolutely insane. In that last fight, when he got down to about 1/5 HP, he was sitting around 20, maybe 15% HP, goes back in, pops the, and like flashes back in, pops the shield up, and then just soaks everything. It gets down to about 1, maybe 1.5% HP, but still there, right? And like that's the kind of plays that you need. Domination flashing forward to kill Monoxy on the Yunara, the Ari going in, and more of these just missing cues, but it causes Mel to pop the shield. That on top, and that along with the Urgot ultimate, just so many things were working in Odium's way, and I think they just got to a point where their team was just working so well together. The Shen, the Urgot, setting things up with the Ari, the flash charm on the top lane, like in between the second tier, right before they take it down, was so key. There was no reaction time for Kleos on this Mel, so just plays upon plays upon plays. And just like in game 1 where Odium lost, this game, Dorado Gaming, even though they lost, there were so many times that they just they kept themselves in the game, and they kept taking the fights, and they kept scrapping back. So both of these teams are doing such a great job of just staying in each of these games. And although this one felt a little more one-sided to me, I think that Odium just had like a little bit better of a composition, or they just played it better. Like both of these games were so close and could have gone either way, and then it just kind of spirals out of control. And then the last 3 minutes of the game is just like, okay, cool, it's over now. Like it's not like this long drawn-out thing. So game 3 is going to be so exciting, and I'm 100% here for it.
Honestly, that was way too good of a game to actually like watch, and this one definitely felt a little bit more Dorado sided. Domination definitely, like I said, making a 180 completely in this game, from being in that Aphelios situation where they weren't really able to do too much in comparison to now being basically the carry of your team. Like and Spoober definitely made the best efforts out of the whole game, but I would definitely say that we got to give credit to, honestly, overall the Braum, Loveless doing an absolute great job, especially being there with the Unbreakables. That definitely blocked a lot of damage, and that was something that was very big on the Xin Zhao from the last game, where they had perfect opportunities to block a lot of damage, and then it allowed for the carries to be able to do their damage, and Xayah was really doing damage out there. So I really do like the fact that we got a really good game from Odium. Definitely Dorado Gaming, they were trying to show their best, but they're going to definitely come with this game 3 firing on all cylinders, and I'm expecting the same thing from Odium. So don't touch that dial. Do not go to a different channel. We will be right back with Titans Olympus Week 7, Strawberry Odium versus Dorado Gaming Sigma. We'll be right back. And welcome back once again to Titans Olympus Week 7 as we are barreling down into this Game 3 of Dorado Gaming Sigma versus Strawberry Odium. In that Game 2, it was absolutely insane to be able to see Strawberry Odium really start to try to really show their real true colors and show that they can really punch up to the big dogs themselves, and they really want to close out the series so they can be able to secure themselves a playoff spot. But right now, I don't think that they gotta have an easy path towards it, because Dorado Game is definitely gonna be trying to swing right back because they wanted to secure that game too. What do you think, Fel?
Yeah, I think that this one's going to be a little bit probably more one-sided than the first two games were. I think whoever gets out to the early start, the early lead is probably going to be the one that takes it. I don't see this one going as back and forth as the first two, just because we're getting into the third round of Fearless. The champion pools are going to be tested a little bit. We've seen now that Guster Posey, on the Shen or something with a global presence, was able to be everywhere all at once. Spoobert on the Urgot, obviously really good. But what I do like about this series so far is that, like, it's not just like Spoobert running down on Espada and just like completely destroying him, and then the rest of the team having to make up for it. It's not Yengu being out jungled. It's not Guster being completely out jungled. It's not Sol or Kleos getting a clear advantage. But all of these, with the exception of the bot lane maybe for game one, and then flipped over for game two, everybody has basically been back and forth or just about as even as you can get. So it's awesome to see two teams that, even though they're on the opposite ends of the standings, they're so close as far as like how they're performing in these games as we're getting into the draft here. So yeah, it's just I do think that getting into like your third set of champions is probably going to be a little rough for both of these teams, but this is where you start to see who really can run a composition really well and communicate as a team, and maybe be on something that's a little bit weaker but still make it work.
And honestly, I'm really excited for this game because, like you said, this is when the champion pool starts to really be tested, and we're already seeing, like, I like how during the breaks we like to try to talk about like some different composition changes and things like that we want to see potentially from these two teams. And the big thing that we've been seeing that we didn't get to see tonight is the Ashe Seraphine, a potentially very strong bot lane composition that we're seeing not get through. And once again, we're not going to see that combination get through, as Odium is right now this time on blue side, so they have the first pick. They're not going to be able to just slam their 1-2 that they've been doing to be able to kind of get their top team compositions wrapped around. Oh, look at that. We got a visitor. But instead, they're gonna also end up banning out the Nami Seraphine for themselves, so the Ashe Seraphine can't be given up. But now Odium is actually able to get the Zehen for themselves. After this time not being banned, they decide to focus more on the mid and bot lanes by banning from Dorado Gaming, banning out the Azir, Orianna, and Smolder.
Yeah, so this is you can tell this is an absolutely huge crowd pick for Odium, because they've been on the red side and they have banned out the Zahen, and as soon as they get a chance to, they go straight for it. And I love that they ban out the Galio, because one of the greatest counters to an all-in, a dive kind of composition is a Galio. So Zahen not going to be able to just like go in there and then get countered by the Galio. I think they work really well together as well. But yeah, they banning out a couple enchanters, forcing them into a Melee Lucian, which is good, but it's not going to be as strong as like maybe a Nami Lucian or a Seraphine Ashe. Picking up the Sivir Rel on the backside there is also very strong. This seems like Odium's going to be on a tempo play here. I think that they're going to want to get the early objectives. They're going to want to keep pushing the pace, and then along with the Zahen, we'll see if they're able to kind of pull this one off. Whereas Dorado Gaming, once again, going for like a nice clean composition, easy to pull off. You get the Lucian Melio, you get the Wukong for access to the backline or Peel. So we'll see how this ends up going, but this is like so standard from Dorado. And then Odium also, man, this is shaping up to be a really good one.
I'm gonna love these team fights that we're going to be getting in this game. Right now, we're seeing the second phase of bans go through, as the LeBlanc and the Akali are both banned by the side of Dorado Gaming Sigma, and we're seeing that the Ornn is being the top lane ban, and the Cassante as well being banned by Odium. So right now, it's actually very interesting to see how they're going to round out these compositions, because like you were saying, it was it's like not as strong as a composition as the Nami Lucian, but we do have the Nami or the Lucian Melio, which has been a pretty decent combination down in the bot side. The Rise though being something that's coming out for this mid lane, I'm not sure how much I feel good about Rise personally, but I'm sure Cleos has been showing that they can definitely pilot some mid laners. So I'm gonna put the trust in Cleos to be able to show us what this Rise can really do. As Domination though is going to respond, or not Domination, but Odium is going to respond by giving Solo Ghost here the victor, and they're gonna wrap everything up with the pick here being the Udyr. So
we've seen this band away from Guster a couple times now, so I'm excited to see the Udyr coming out. And I actually thought that potentially the Rise was going to be a flex into the top lane. We've seen it top in prior seasons. Obviously, it hasn't been as much. I don't like it so much into the Victor just because Victor can just sort of outrange it basically on command. But, you know, this is shaping up to be a good one, right? Like Dorado Gaming, they have a very strong 4v4 with their Yorick split push. They also can send the Maiden on their own to a lane, to an objective. You know, like it can solo Void Grubs. Like it's ridiculous what Yorick can do here. And then you know, for the side of Odium, you know, you have the strong engage, you have the Rel, you have the Zion, you even have the Udyr that can, you know, kind of take over team fights as well. And then, you know, the Victor over the top and the Sivir to just kind of like keep that damage going everywhere. And we've seen once Sivir gets 3-4 items, like she becomes a huge late game powerhouse. And if you can get a couple of ricochets to go through, as we do see, this is going to be Spoobert on the Udyr. You don't normally give this champion to him, and I guess we're going to find out why. Either they bait him in here.
Oh, level 1 immediately going right in. Oh, I'm so sorry, dude. It's just like I just thought they were really about to actually like go full ham. It seemed like they were just, I was ready for a full fisticuffs level 1 3v3. That was absolutely like, that was insane. I wasn't expecting them to get that much damage down onto Yengu right there. And as you said, Spoober is somebody I believe that it just feels like whatever you put him on, he just can do a decent job here. Spoobert now invading onto Yengu. Yengu not having a whole lot of health, and he's gonna be getting chunked out. I'm sure he doesn't have the clone. Gonna be forced to flash. Does Spoobert want to chase? No. Yengu forced out of his own jungle on the red buff, and that's gonna be devastating for his clear to begin. Dorado Gaming already being bought behind, not in gold, but in timing.
Yeah, and we're gonna see really quick here. If Odium see the Wukong on the red, Zion goes straight to his blue buff. If they don't see him within the next 30 seconds and they have excellent warding, he's gonna go straight to his red buff and get a 3 buff start here for the Zion. And man, Spoobert playing with fire here.
Be careful, first blood in the solo. Oh my god! Spoobert going ahead and intimidating the jungle, and now you're also decimating your top laner. First blood going to this Odium Udyr.
Legitimately, just it gave up prio and then goes in and gets the solo kill. That's knowing your champion. That's knowing your kill potential here. Is we just like he just keeps this up. And then obviously, you know, Udyr, one of the champions that can really use you know, conqueror stacks to like their maximum, right? So he's just keeping it up here. And then once he hits this 12 right here, everything here is healed up. So you just have the Omnivamp, and he's just able to keep going, and the grasp and Q damage from Espada is just not enough to keep them sustained. And yeah, so crazy. This could potentially just go completely off the rails if Spoobert is left here, and if he can do that and not make a lot of any real mistakes until like at least like 10-15 minutes, he might be able to get another kill or two on this Yorick and then just completely shut this lane down.
I just realized something, and that's actually kind of crazy that you said this during the champ select for the side of Odium. What's really nice about their team is the ability to outrange so much of their team. Sivir definitely, like, even though the auto attack range is around the same, those boomerang blades and the ricochet, she definitely outranges Lucian at that point. Lucian probably can't even get on top of her. But hold on, Yengu, Solo Ghost has been pressuring Cleos this entire time, so Yengu's like, yo, I gotta come help. Drops the gravity field over in the middle of him so then he can potentially not jump onto him, but he waits it out. Yengu having so much patience. Solo Ghost want to hold on to the flash, able to hold on to it long enough after the clone, knowing that Guster Posey was on the way to be able to attempt to help. And that is Yengu saying, nope, let me get out of dodge. I'm getting out of here. And that's gonna be it. Solo Ghost might want to back here, doesn't want to stay for too long, but I think, oh, we're going to split picture. Okay, I was gonna say, wait, did we miss a fight? But Spoobert though, definitely putting the pressure in on this onto Espada on this Yorick, and that's something you don't want to be Yorick behind, you know, like it does not feel good to be behind this Yorick at all. So Yorick's definitely gonna have to start to combat. And this, look at this, Guster Posey just running up in this Wukong jungle, going like, man, these my cams. Like, and I love it. I love seeing Guster being so ballsy in this game. He has to play like this. You gotta play with that confidence to really try to put the fear into the enemy jungle. And if he can start to shake Yengu up a bit, it's gonna be really hard, especially when you saw how much that Spoobert sacrificed and was still able to get the solo kill up on the top side on this Udyr. So right now, it's definitely looking like it feels like right now Odium feels like they just have the confidence at the moment, and I really hope that like that Dorado Gaming is going to be able to try to turn that around. Maybe let the early game kind of just be like, all right, y'all got it, and then we'll let y'all pass. But mid game come along, we're going to try to turn this around. So we gotta wait for this. And but right now we got the chat literally giving Odium all the energy, like Goku calling up for the Spirit Bomb. So I don't know, man. It really feels very Dorado Gaming is like, all right, I want Dorado Gaming to be like, yo, we about to prove chat wrong.
Yeah, and this is kind of like one of those things where like the feeling of the game. And yes, Spoobert getting it on top of Yengu in the beginning and just pushing him completely off the red buff to start, and then getting the solo kill. Espada sitting under his turret with 0 mana as Udyr hits level 6 with the tier item. Like, this is just like not going the way that, you know, Dorado Gaming want, and it just feels that way. But just like in any other you know, event or competition, how do you turn it around? You silence the crowd, right? Like, you just stop it. You make a big play, potentially like on this mid here. But Soul is so healthy, and it is so hard to gank a Victor on Wukong. But you know, this is just like something where your comp is just not allowing you to do what you need to do. But if Dorado Gaming can get a kill onto the Udyr, if they can get a double kill onto this bot lane, they can silence this and then kind of turn the tempo around the other way. But it is going to be really hard because, like I said, like the range is better, the escapability is better, and then obviously this top lane and mid lane, the prio is better for the side of Odium. So you know, they're playing like they're ahead right now, and they are, with the exception of this bot lane. Now Monoxia, we saw him on the Ezreal, and even last game wasn't too terrible, but on this Lucian, 12 CS ahead right now. If they can get a kill here and get Monoxia ahead, a fed Lucian is extremely hard to deal with, especially when he has a Emilio in his pocket. And the later that the game goes, the more I want to be around Emilio Lucian than I do a Sivir Rel. And then the scrappability of these teams at the end of this just might be too much. But if Odium can keep this lead and then just balloon this, maybe get another kill or two, or just get an early plate, get the second and third objectives, they can completely turn this game around, or not turn it around, but they can completely put this game completely out of contention for the side of Dorado if they keep this up.
But like, you know, I'm glad that you pointed out that CS difference in the bot lane, because I just want to say this. Also notice though where the other CS differences are happening on the map right now. We got a CS difference in the jungle right now with a 20 CS gap for Odium's top, or for Odium jungle. You then got a 20 CS gap up in the top side from between Spoobert and Espada, and then you're looking at a 26 CS gap between Solo Ghost and Cleos. Right now, that top side, they win in this map at the moment, and they're really proving individually how much more they're able to do it. Yes, 20 farm up for this. Oh wow, that's a lot of damage being dropped at the maiden on top of Spoobert. Oh boy, he got to be a little bit more careful. That level 6 is not to be played with, boy. But the 20 farm difference between the Sivir and the Lucian, yes, that is happening. And yes, you want the Sivir to be able to get a little bit more, as they're both looking like they're going towards the Essence Navori build, which I'm a big fan of personally. It just allows for way more spell weaving, and just it honestly gets more damage out to me personally, just because you're constantly, you know, spell weaving. But it feels like as if that, even though yes, you see those CS differences, Sivir's one of those ones where it's like she feels so much more item dependent. Once she starts to get ramped up, though, it's really hard to stop her. So as long as Victor, Zahin, and Odir are able to keep their leads up, it's not going to feel so bad that your ADC is a little bit behind because these other members are actually doing much more. Where only on the one side, it's like all you have is just the one Lucian.
Yeah, and the every time that this camera pans over to the mid lane, Kleos is backing or sitting on like 0 health. Like that route of ages cannot come quick enough, and if it doesn't get here soon, I don't think that there's going to be a ways. Now we're going to get an engage in the bot lane.
Loveless jumps right in on the Monoxia. Monoxia using the culling, trying to drop the damage, trying to absorb a little bit more. The rush, absolutely rush, being used by Domination, trying to get the Boomerang Blade. Gonna get stunned in the middle of the turret. Loveless gonna be able to take on Monoxia. It's so unfortunate. That's not what you want right now, and that is going to be Odium being able to take the kill, getting it onto the support, but that's okay. What you just want is to shut down this Lucian, and they're trying to look for more. 6-7 looks like he's trying to get the kill onto the Silver, but I don't think that's gonna happen.
No, and it's a great engage, re-engage from Lucian. Like keeping Loveless there and interested is so good. And then we see how strong this Lucian Melio can be. But then right here, overcommit. And this is the part where you just have to say, okay, we get the flash out of the Sivir, but instead goes in, gets completely locked up by the Rel, and like you said, yes, it does go to the support. That does kind of suck. But Sivir is a 3 to 4 item AD carry. They're not a hit your first or second item and then take over the game kind of AD carry, but it does give them a lot of breathing room. They were able to push out the next wave. They were able to get caught up a little bit in CS. They're no longer down by over 20, at least for the moment. And then, you get the assist, and then you get a little bit of breathing room. And then now you've put a little bit of a seed of doubt, potentially, into Monoxia in here. And, maybe he doesn't go for that play again when the next time he would be able to get it. So we'll see how it ends up affecting their mental. But yeah, right now, Kleos
jumping on him. Gus Posey though gonna be able to get the drag back onto Kleos. Kleos now under the Magna Storm, not gonna be able to keep the damage onto him there, but Solo Ghost gonna be able to get out alive. I was gonna say as well, as you were mentioning, hold on, Monoxia. All right, not gonna continue that engage, even though Yengu is there to be able to help. I think I just
get the dragon in 5, which is why this fighting is happening.
Yeah, so we're getting really close to the dragon here. We do have Guster Posey down here on the Zahen. I'm ready. I'm ready for this first major fight here, because right now, even I was gonna say, if anything though, what could also end up happening is that we also haven't considered that they haven't been able to send like Sivir to like somewhere for her to be by herself as well eventually. So once you get to that point where it's like probably 15 minutes into the game where you send Sivir up to the mid lane, and she can do the same thing to Rise that Victor is doing to Rise right now. The constant outranging poke while ricocheting off the wave, while trying to push the waves and constantly getting under the turret. We're gonna get the engage as 6-7 was caught up and stunned up by Loveless, but not gonna be enough as the culling comes out, trying to drop more damage, not gonna be able to get it. Yengu trying to drop and gets the Cyclone, able to get Loveless locked up, and Loveless is gonna be able to get their ult off, but not gonna be able to live it out as Monoxia able to secure that kill, and now trying to drop more. The Sivir doesn't have the damage yet, Zahin trying to use his ult, but not gonna be able to get it. Yengu is able to secure that kill. That's gonna be 2 kills over to the side of Dorado Gaming. We're getting the 1v1 over in the mid lane. Solo Ghost trying to get away from the Rise trying to get that revenge, not going to be able to land the Q, trying to jump away, and that's going to be 2 members getting away from that fight. We do only have the 2 kills drop over in the bot lane.
Yeah, this is the point, right? Like the Rod of Ages is about to be finished for Rise, and if he can do that against the Blackfire Torch completed, then this might spell trouble for the side of Odium, whereas Victor was just kind of winning every single time. I don't know if it was the timing of a teleport or just coming back to the lane, and then, Solo Ghost was just like sitting on a bunch of money or whatever, but you cannot start to give Rise those types of engages and win trades, because once that starts happening, you're kind of screwed, right? And Soul of Ghost needs to be careful not to fall prey to that. As Spoober gets a solo kill onto Espada in the top lane, they will see Yengu coming here, and might get a re-engage. I don't know if he...
How is Guster Posey at everywhere this game? Everywhere where there's a potential for Yengu to be, Guster Posey has just been there and ready. And it's actually kind of crazy. Even though they lost that last fight, look at that. He just goes in, steals the Krug, start taking the little tiny Krugs, trying to deny him much more gold. But here comes the Hex Splash. They're looking for Loveless, gets the stun, lands the charge, trying to chase him down. I think he does still have the clone, able to get away with that. Nicely done by Yengu to get away from that. But it's still like, damn, now you got Loveless on top of you. Unfortunately, though, Domination gonna be stuck in between his turrets because this Lucian is unfortunately ahead. So we just gotta see if they can do any more. Quest completed for Kleos, but Guster Posey now looking for him as Solo Ghost was just doing a little bit of 1v1. Yengu is here now to be able to assist. We have a mid-jungle duo match in the mid lane as the support from the side of Dorado Gaming is the first one to roam up. Oh, nope, nope. Fight's over. Fight's over.
Yeah, I thought lost it for a second.
I was waiting. I know.
Yeah.
No.
Yengu doing, yeah. I was gonna say Yengu doing a good job here as well. Counter jungling at Guster, even though Guster got it earlier, like doing a good job of staying with it, because if he starts to let that CS lead bubble, especially out from jungle minions, this could be really bad as Kleos trying to fight.
Not gonna get the drag, but Gravity Field is there, able to slow him down a little bit, drops the ultimate, Zahin goes in, Solar Ghost, able to secure that kill onto Kleos in the mid lane, and that's gonna be, you do want to definitely have it in the head, Victor. Culling, gonna be used by Monoxia, trying to get as much damage down onto Domination as possible. Monoxia currently ahead on this Lucian, and looking really good on it. Loveless, though, is here to defend his bot lane, but we do also have the jungle from the side of Dorado Gaming. Both junglers are here, waiting for the anticipatory dive. Does have the Cyclone, looking to get ready to go in. He does know Zahin is there, though, so I think Yengu is just gonna back off. They're not trying to risk the turnaround on that dive.
Yeah, no, good call not to go for that, because I don't think it goes the way that you want it to. I do believe that if they go for that dive, they may get 2 kills, but they're probably giving up 3, right? And you're probably not getting the tower either. So, good job. Sometimes the right call, or the best call, is the one that's like doesn't feel that great because you're not getting what you want out of it. But at the same time, Spirit able to just kind of solo through this top lane here, and is just completely dominating Espada on this Yorick. The one thing that I will say though is that like Yorick doesn't really care. Like, yeah, it sucks being behind, but if you don't have to interact with your laner, and we get to a point where Spoobert is starting to roam into fights and they're trying to fight over objectives, or they're on the bot side, you can just get your Yorick to just push down 2 turrets out of nowhere, right? Yeah, so it's not the, well, that's Trundle. Thank you very much. If you're talking about sneezing on turrets and knocking them down, it's Trundle.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
But yeah, so like not completely out of it, and Dorado Gaming, they still do have a Rise, which is going to scale into the late game. They still have the Melio Lucian, which if they can get a good skirmish in, are going to be really hard here. We're seeing all the damage that Monoxia can kind of put out here, and then take the shield and the heals from Melio on the back end.
Oh, look at that. Drops the Gravity Field. Gonna get the Culling. He's gonna be able to get it. Gets under the turret, and the Melio heal able to save him. Monoxia able to get that kill directly onto him. Nicely done. And that's a shutdown also over to that Lucian. 2-1-1, 30 farm up. Man, you guys are gonna be scared come those mid-game team fights.
Yeah, that's just such clean play from the Lucian, and this is like I could support this dude, and he would make me look good, right, at this point, because just like, hey, just keep shielding me, just keep putting stuff on me, and then 6-7, good job on the back end of this. This Culling gets so much damage out, and then the flash forward into last auto attack, and then that Melio shield and the ultimate, just enough to get him from giving that up for the turret. I think like get the bot turret off of that too as well if you wanted it, but they back off. I think they want a little bit more lane play if they can get it, and I think that's kind of the right call here, where you can still just kind of play off of this, bounce back, and have like a little bit more safety. So I do like this call as well from Monoxia and 6-7, and then the top lane. Oh my God, that
Bye Maiden
melts.
I feel bad for the side. I feel bad right now because it's like you were saying, like, oh, we're gonna get to the point where Udyr is just split pushing. What I really like from the side of Odium right now is they're playing just careful enough, or they don't give up exactly everything. And oh, hold on, Rise and Solo Ghost right now having a fight. They're not giving up too much to the point where it's like Udyr has to come down, like Udyr has to roam down. No, it's like, hey, you guys are doing okay. All right, I'm just gonna keep bullying this Yorick up top and keep taking their turrets and keep busting everything down. But now the Ghouls is dusting him down. It is a shutdown. Give it over to the Yorick. That's the kill that he needed right there. 50 farm down, but he just needed that one extra bit of confidence boost. and right there is one for Dorado Gaming to get. And it's like, dang, man, we just had to lose to Udyr there, but I think Spoop's gonna be coming back hard on that one after he respawns here.
He will, but like, you gotta remember, man, this isn't solely. This is not limit testing time. You know, this is your playoffs are on the line time. You can't be doing that kind of stuff. And I think he's gonna be, kicking himself a little bit for that. Even if he comes back and hole breakers the turret down right after this, as he picks that up on his back. Yeah, not great to give that to York, because York is gonna get the. Get the Triforce on the back end here. If he can maybe get a little bit more defensive items as well, that's going to be big too. So that's a big, as he gets the Phage as well. So that's a big back for the York after he eats that Udyr. So bad play, but you have a good bait coming here.
Oh no, he doesn't know that Guster Posey is there though either. Go ahead, be able to get the Cyclone to draw out, uses his ult to be able to get him, drops the Gravity Storm onto him, and he's not going to be able to kill him just yet. That Solar Ghost able to secure the kill onto Yengu, and that 6-7 not going to be able to come down anymore. That's the fight gone.
Yeah, what a great bait play. I mean, we could see it just sitting there, and he's just like being so tasty, just sitting there letting Cleos hit him as the top lane is going to go down as well. So this is what they see for Dorado Gaming, and Solo Ghost even walks the wrong way, like oops, and then just kind of turns this one around, and then Zahen with the ultimate on top. Solo Ghost able to just dish out all that damage on the Yengu. He does flash away too, which is kind of bad because now you don't have that for the next potential fight. So a little bit of we get baited here. If you're Dorado Gaming, but just a smart heads up play for the side of Odium. I really like the way that they pulled that one off. And those are the kind of plays that you're going to need to do as well. After you make a big, mistake like on the top lane and stuff. So they do still have Monoxia in 6-7 here. They still have this Lucian to believe in. Guster Posey once again.
Oh no, Domination is going to be getting caught up by a lot of damage. We're trying to get onto Monoxia. Gengu is now here to be able to support the rest of his team. Going to be able to get away. It was an even fight right there, but they definitely, I think they possibly could have actually gotten Sivir in that one. She was a little far up, but she does still have Flash and Barrier left, so she at least had those safety nets.
Yeah, she's dead.
Like back in, Monoxia getting caught up, charged on. Magnastorm going to be coming from Loveless. Here's Rise, utilizing the Realm Warp to jump right onto Guster Posey. He tried to use the ultimate, able to get it. Here comes the Resurrection. Pulls back in 6-7, but he's going to go after Yengu as the stun comes out from Loveless. Going to flash out, get away. Scooper coming now, and that's it. The Fed Udyr is looking for him as the York's going to TP from the top side, trying to be able to help out the rest of his team. Looking for Guster Posey off on the backside. Scooper using the Phoenix stance AoE to try to deal a little bit of damage and keep people off him. His Domination is nearly taken out. Lucian looking for the damage. Scooper takes out Cleos, but that's going to be a double kill going over to the enemy. Lucian, Dorado Gaming. I think they might have found the fight that they were looking for. Solo Ghost is going to be getting caught out. Lucian looking for more damage. He dashes in, able to get the 2 hits. Not going to be able to get that kill. Yengu finding him. Spoopert going to be able to take out a Spada, but that's the Yorick going down, with Lucian getting another kill for that fight as they try to chase down Spoopert and Loveless. The sole 2 members left for the side of Odium, giving up so much as they were able to take them down, and massive kills going over to the Lucian.
Yeah, that is a huge play for Dorado Gaming, and especially, like you said, this Lucian as, Udyr teleporting into the bot here, and then they're just kind of split on a 3-2 here. After we get this play in the mid, where Monoxia and 6-7 do a great job of getting away from Guster Posey, and then we cannot say enough about Loveless this series, and this play right here that he is about to make, which absolutely saves Guster on the back end of this here. Guster is going to end up eventually here, like this does not go their way, especially as the Rise Realm Warps in behind him, and then just enough wherewithal to get that last little bit up to get the... Ooh, and then you get the pull here, right? And as he's resurrecting, look at Loveless on the bottom side of your map. Coming in, flash, Q. All 3 stunned up. Buys Guster Posey just enough time to kind of get out of here. And they almost get to turn this fight around here. But outside of Spoopert, I don't think anybody else is really prepared here to fight this. So kind of a bad call to keep going in on this. And then Domination and Guster Posey, Lucian is a very mobile carry. And able to kind of get back in here, and Guster Posey trying to sit and do as much as he can to, stop his Sivir from dying, but just can't have it happen. And that's kind of where everything goes awry here for the side of Odium. You know, Solo Ghost trying to do what they can on the back end here, and then Spoobert obviously getting this kill onto the Yorick after here. And then you get the flash from Anaxi, you get the flash from 6-7 here. So there is a little bit to be said about this, to where you can say that, hey, we did at least get something on the back and it wasn't a complete loss, but you cannot split your team into a 3-2 like that and expect to come out you know, on the winning side, especially if you're going to allow yourselves to be low near this Lucian, because he can just chase just about anybody down.
Yeah, and then we also, I'm just going to mention this, we ended up missing the Cleos unfortunately being dropped by Udyr earlier in the game there, as we do see that they're going to attempt to fight for this Drake. Guster Posey is behind the Drake wall, not really looking to attempt a jump in or anything like that, as they do have they have the full force. Yeah, Dorado Gaming has the full force. About the Realm Rope though, and that's going to be Solo Ghost dropping the gravity field onto the middle of them, able to land on the 3 members, so that completely stops them from being able to make that Realm Warp worth it. Nicely done by the side of Solo Ghost, or by Solo Ghost, to be able to recognize that and still maintain their 2K gold lead currently for the side of Odium. But we do still need to see, like, we need to see how well they continue to do in these fights, because they've been giving up a lot sometimes when it comes to like fighting. Even if they go even in the fight, it feels like they just give up way more. Spoobert, you're right behind 2 different members. He's really looking for Monoxia, and he thinks he can get away, but they're dropping so much damage. All of them, the culling comes out. Guster Posey now tanking all of it as Solo Ghost tries to transfer the damage to himself. Drops the gravity field to go ahead and deter any more movement. Nicely done by Odium to completely deter that fight and get some decent cooldowns off him.
Yeah, you get the barrier from the Lucian, right? And I think the flash from the Wukong. So it just kind of started out of nowhere. I don't think that Spoobert was even on comms when he said that. I think he just, or when he did that, I think he just went and did it and got, you know, 2 huge summoner spells out of it. So this Udyr is so much fun to watch with the Frozen Heart and the Femboy now completed. Yeah, I said that one on purpose, by the way. Now with those 2 items completed, like, he's going to be doing a lot of damage, but also just sustaining so much between the Ravenous Hydra and the Hullbreaker, able to just, you know, dish out the damage to the turrets. He's going to be so hard to kill with all that sustain, and yeah, pretty tanky, and it's impressive to see how well Spoobert can pilot this champion. Like, I thought he did really well on like the Urgot and stuff, but this is even more impressive what he's done here. And now with the rest of Dorado Gaming trying to like collapse on him, they have such good vision of this red side here that he should be safe this entire time too. So he's going to be that menace that Yorick likes to be, but Udyr is actually going to be it this time, you know, if he keeps this up. So we're starting to see the plan come to fruition. However, it's only a 1K gold lead, and one big team fight from Dorado turning around this next time after all these bounties have been collected. This next team fight, if they win it, especially off the back of Monoxia, and he gets a couple more kills, like, this game could start to become out of reach for the side of Odium pretty quickly. So they need to play their cards right, and they need to be careful. But if they can keep this pressure and tempo on the side of Odium, I think that they have you know, a good win con that they're following right now.
Yeah, because like you can just definitely look at the differences between the ADCs right now. Literally a whole item and a half up for this Lucian, with the building now into his last Whisper item after already completing the Navori. And right now we're still waiting for Sivir to complete their Navori. So it's definitely a difference right now in those bot lanes once again between the two. We kind of noticed that in game 1, but right now, again, as you said, Sivir is a 4 item AD carry. Like, she really needs to get that Lord Dom. She needs to get that 100% crit to be able to really get something. But they don't realize that Solo Ghost is about to get dove as the turret drops, the gravity field drops, the Cyclone taking in, and Lucian getting another kill for himself as he's chasing him down, looking for Guster Posey next, able to get the double shot. The culling is dropping so much damage. That could have been Guster Posey losing his life, even though we're getting turrets off on the other side. Spoobert's not here to be able to help with these fights, and Dorado Gaming is showing that their team is in the right places at the right time. 33 seconds on this Victor, and that's going to be potentially the Baron started.
Yeah, and I don't know why Soul didn't realize that that was happening, as Monoxia is now just chasing down Loveless as well. I think he's He's gonna get this kill.
He really wants this kill. Gonna use
no.
the ult to try to get him, but no, Monoxia not looking for any more greed. Decides to back off. Doesn't want to give up any potential shutdown.
Yeah, but that turret was like a sneeze away from going down. Like, anyways, I don't think that it was that important to protect. And you know, and it shows why. And you know, Dorado Gaming getting the Baron on the back end of that little bit of a misstep from Solo Ghost's huge play. And now we see 7-1-1. Monoxia is starting to really come online here on this Lucian. Like, it feels like we just keep saying his name over and over this game. So like he's the carry right now, right? Like, it's all in his hands. If he can get 1 or 2 kills right off the bat and then stay healthy and still be in the fight, then this could be you know, his game to really claim to fame kind of deal, and you know, solidify them as the first seed through the back of his play. And so like, pressure's on, man. Let's go. This is the big time. This is game 3, and this is for everything. As the big fight comes out in the mid lane here.
Yeah, we're gonna see the Cyclone being dropped by Yengu as the culling is being dropped over. Espada is able to take out Guster Poses. That's already 1 member lost. And Yengu's gonna be the next one to drop. Solo Ghost able to take that kill. There's more damage coming out from this Lucian. So much is being dropped on top as Scoober's trying to be in the middle. Domination able to secure their first kill of the game as they're able to take out the Rise. That's 2 members from the side of Dorado Gaming being able to take out a team fight win for the side of Strawberry Odium, and they're saying, you know what, we have the Baron buff, we're gonna just start taking down your turrets if you're looking for anything else, as Scoober is trying to proxy the wave to prevent the side of Dorado Gaming from being able to do any more. But these Baron empowered minions able to start dropping the turrets as Monoxia is able to go legendaries and take out Solo Ghost off in the mid lane under his own barrier. But Domination gonna be the next one. Drop is a double kill where Monoxia is still beautiful health as he's looking for more. He might be able to get even 2 more kills, but there's Spoober there as he's able to get that massive shutdown from the Lucian, and then looking for 6-7 next. You're not going to be able to get away. Spoober going in, punches him down, and that's another double kill.
He just punched a little boy in the face. He just punched a little boy in the face. Oh man, that's crazy. Monoxia just such good, clean plays, and then he does that. That's very unfortunate for the side of Dorado Gaming. They could have just had a tier 3 turret in the mid lane taken down, followed up by the dragon secured. And now Loveless is going to have to be here and try to stop this. The Rel Victor combo at the beginning of that last fight as going to get the 50-50 here. It does go the way of Guster Posey, so he does get that. Zahim able to do some good work, and now him and Loveless fighting.
A lot of damage with the round warp coming in, able to drop in Cleos, and the Espada is here, forcing the ult out of Guster Posey to go over the wall to try to get away as Spoober is trying to come from behind him, but the flank's not going to be able to work as Espada saw him coming from a mile away. Spoober now just trying to clear this wave. No one else is going to be able to jump on top of him. That was actually crazy, and apparently from what I'm seeing, that was literally 1 HP.
Wow, that's insane. So they're both missed, or he just missed by 1, but like, holy crap, that is like the closest, luckiest Baron ever that I've seen, at least since I've been casting.
Oh no, I think they might have found Monoxia as they were able to get stunned up, but Monoxia ends up finding Guster Posey, then Domination. Loveless having to jump back on the horse, trying to get away. Monoxia is like, I'm not afraid of your turrets, man. I'm gonna chase you down anyways. And he's looking for him, but this time, you want to take my team, Monoxia? Spoobert says, I'm taking yours. Get over here, you're not getting away. Stunned up, that's the waste of the teleport, and Spoobert is once again on the board with those kills. That's absolutely insane. It's really a carry job between the Lucian and the Udyr. Is it gonna be the bear, or is it gonna be the man with the gun? Who's going to win it?
As of right now, I think it's gonna be the man with the gun, because with the Melio W or E, like with the extra move speed and the extra range, like he is just tearing through here. Like, I saw that play and you're like, oh, he might be getting caught. I was like, no, he has them right where he wants to be. He just basically 1.5 v3'd that entire team, and he's just so quick to kill on this Lucian now. So he's gotten to a huge point. But Spoobert at level 20 compared to Yorix, I think he's still like level 17. Maybe, I guess we'll see once he reses. Yeah, Spoobert on this Udyr is such a menace. The problem is, if you put Spoobert up against the Lucian and Melio is there, I don't think that Udyr is going to be able to kill him. Potentially, maybe, but I don't think so. So we'll see what ends up happening. I think that it's just kind of the tale of like two carries, like you were saying, doing whatever they can. Is now
I
Duster's trying to
suppose,
get in
and
on
using the ult for Monoxia, gonna end up dropping him in domination, dropping double kill over to Monoxia as well. And I think that potentially could be it if they find these last two members over the wall. Monoxia is looking for him, ends up finding Solo Ghost. Gravity Field gonna drop, going golden, trying to prevent a little bit of time, uses the flash to try to get away. But Yengu not afraid of the Victor though. But Spoobert is who you should be afraid of. That realm work coming through from Victor, but not gonna be it as Melio and Wukong both being dropped, and now they're chasing the Victor down. Room Prison dropped on the Loveless, able to get him to stop. Cleo's able to use the phasers, get away.
Insane.
And that's Spoobert though, looking for a Spada. That's absolutely insane. Even though you got the Lucian, Spoobert says, I'm still on this Udyr and I'm coming for you.
Yeah, okay, we answered the question. However, at this point, if anybody on the team like engages on this Lucian without Spoobert being there, like why? Right? Like there is no reason to start this fight mid. This is a piss fight at its best, and like not something that you want to see. However, Monoxia and the rest of Dorado Gaming do overstay a little bit. I know Yengu had the whatchamacallit, the Cyclone down, but Solo Ghost with the Zonia is able to buy just enough time, and then sitting under that ult while Stuber and Loveless come in here is huge. And the Victor Rel combo works once again, but yeah, they need to stop engaging without Udyr. If he is pushing, you need to just be biding time and just sitting around. Domination at this point might as well just go tanky, because he's literally like a two-shot from Lucian to die as soon as Lucian walks up. So now it looks like they're going to end up trading a potential Baron steal
For this. Wait, can they go in? Yengu able to secure it, but Zahang goes in the middle of all of them, and so many members are dropping. Is the Sivir able to actually secure a kill, and Lucian is gone. And Spada gonna be the next one to drop. Is they able to land a damage? No, they're not, but Cleos is probably gonna drop off the soul. But Spoober is backdooring the whole game. Is this what's happening? Is this what it is?
Insane, dude.
GG, the distraction. You thought you were gonna get the Baron, but they said we're gonna get the Nexus and the Strawberry Odium taking the series.
Oh my god, okay, right as soon as I say don't do anything without Udyr there, they go in without Udyr and they take the freaking game. That was absolutely insane. Loveless on this rel, I feel like we've been saying his name probably the most this entire series. Braum in the last game, and then, or not Braum in the last game, the first game, but then just this game, able to go in and get everything off there, and then Rel on top of Victor, on top of Zahen, just so well done from them on that play after the Baron to make sure they couldn't get in. And now I see, I was a little confused when I started seeing the Udyr bans. I'm like, who's an Udyr main, right? Like, what? Like, you guys can't stop that? And absolutely not. Spoobert completely took this game over and was the reason that they stayed in as long as they did. And yes, mistakes were made, but they were also made up for. And yeah, just crazy series, a great back and forth. And Strawberry Odium, congratulations on making it to the playoffs, because you guys did it, and that was absolutely insane comeback in that game 3 and sticking around. And yeah, just holy crap, that was a fun series to cast.
Yeah, no, that was absolutely banger. The whole entire series. No, like I don't think anybody could deny that. It was especially like constant back and forths in both game 1 and game 2. But Strawberry Odium with the absolute mental to be able to play the game differently. They really played to the whole map. And it was like that realization of, oh, wait a second, we got a split pushing Udyr who honestly tears through turrets like a madman with that hull breaker. So like he was basically just barreling down the lane. Oh, all 5 members are at the Baron right now? Well, guess what we're doing? Udyr,
Yep.
do your thing. Do what you do best. And that's the reason why I think I was so just enthralled by what I was watching on screen. Because this Udyr definitely basically dictated the whole map. It
Yeah.
dictated the whole game for them. And now that we see that what ended up happening, you're like, oh snap, maybe who Strawberry Odium clearly has a ability to play above what was expected of them. Like again, I think we said it in the chat, or not in the chat, but when we were talking about it over break, this didn't feel like, first place versus fourth place the entire time,
No.
like at all. Like no, and this time I would say like This
Oh
time it's
gosh.
like they proved that they don't necessarily need Sivir doing damage. They just need to make sure the other aspects around them can be able to do that. And you do see how much damage was being done by the Victor. The fact that there was so much turret damage taken by the Udyr, and it's just like, oh man, dude, how do you even like how what do you do when you have a team who's like, hey, we don't necessarily need our bot lane to win. We just
Mhm.
kind of need our mid and jungle to kind of do their little thing, their song and dance. And as long as our split push top laner gets the chance to bully you up in the top side, what you doing? Like
Right. Yeah.
it just
No.
it
No.
was it
Thousand
was
percent.
definitely it was definitely a different game from like minute one. I feel it like it just Odium just felt more on top overall, and
Mhm.
this game felt like more Odium sided. And I kind of saw the glimpses, as I always say, the glimpses for Dorado Gaming to be able to take something within game three, but it definitely felt way more like, nah, Odium, they once they took control, they were like, yeah, nah, we got this. Even though the Lucian was definitely gunning and running and gunning them down with
Mhm.
that culling. Oh my god, the damage that came out from that. But either way, though, the Lucian wasn't able to push forward. And like, not to dog on Monoxia, but man, you and 6-7 were really trying to push this game forward for
Mhm.
yourselves. And I think that it's just the Udyr, though, like the way that the Udyr can play more macro mattered a little bit more than the micro of the or micro of the team fights of your
Mhm.
inevitable or your individual ability, and then the macro of team fights where he's like, oh, you guys are gonna play the team fight game, I'm playing the whole map. And then he just that's how they ended up being able to catch that moment where everyone's at Baron. And if you're just like, yo guys, go in,
Mhm.
boom, that's probably what was going on in the comms, like, hey guys, go in, try to
I
stop
got
their
this win.
Baron,
Yeah.
I got this win right now. And I know it's like we're probably gonna get spooked in
Perfect
here.
special. Yeah,
Is
so yeah, we got that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is like one of those things where like on the side of Dorado Gaming Signa, I wouldn't even say that like anybody played poorly or bad. They just ended up, going a little bit too ham at the end. Monoxia on the Lucian, like they could have had the tier 3 turret and the dragon. Instead they go for a 50-50 on the dragon. You die to you die on the Lucian, and you just give them a little bit more time. So those kind of mistakes, though, those are easy to correct. It's literally a, hey, don't do that again. And he goes, yeah, my bad. I screwed that up, And so it's not really like mechanical mistakes. It's not really big macro mistakes. It's just the kind of mistakes that you just get a little overzealous. You forget where you're going, where you are, or how strong or weak your champion is, and then just overcommit a little bit too much. So I think that kind of stuff is like super easy to clean up. And then Strawberry, like you said, like from the get go on this game, and this is why even in this high of an elo, even when you're at D4 and under, like giving somebody their pocket special pick, one trick, like whatever it is, completely changes the dynamic of the game. And we see why, because Spoobert on this Udyr is like, I'll give these 3 minions away. Like the Udyr or Yorick isn't going to be able to beat me early on, and I'm going to go into his jungle and just completely screw over Wukong. And that's exactly what he did. And from that point on, it was just it just felt like, for the most part, with the exception of the bot lane, they always had the advantage, wherever they were. And I think that this bot lane has shown the potential to be the carry of Odium, and they've also been kind of the liability. So I would like to see domination. And Loveless was amazing, and I think the domination, maybe he's either getting put on champs that he's not comfortable, or they're just not finding the right situations to get him in there. But game two completely saved that game. The Zaya was amazing. The Sivir was a little underwhelming, and in the first one, the Aphelios Thresh just didn't work out really well, just because Ezreal and Bard. But yes, we do have Spoobert on standby for an interview ready to go. So as soon as production can drag him in here, as I say it, Spoobert, welcome to the playoffs, dude. Congratulations, and what a performance, especially in that game three on the Udyr. How you feeling, my
Nicely
man?
done, man.
Uh, I'm feeling pretty good. I was really really locked in. Apparently, my team was telling me a bunch of things,
Hmm.
and I wasn't responding to them. So I don't know. I didn't hear what they were saying.
Oh man.
I was eating every source of gold on the map because I can't beat Lucian
Mhm.
in that game. So I have to be so much ahead.
Right.
So that was my entire game plan.
Yeah. No. And you did it. Oh,
Yeah, yeah. BM. It should be Loveless. Yeah.
okay. All right. So we're gonna get Loveless in here too.
Of course.
Loveless, welcome in. Congratulations on the victory, and congratulations on getting in the playoffs. And I think that between you, I think between you and Spoobert, was getting the majority of the love in the chat. So you two are definitely the fan favorites of this, and I can see why. Not just with the Udyr, but dude, you are on like this rel. Absolutely insane, man, and like the loveless gap was definitely felt, in a lot of these team fights, and especially in game two. How you feeling, dude?
Yeah, it feels really good. I mean, game three was definitely really hard. Um, I'm just, in chat, I'm just spamming the Lucian's flash timer. Like, guys, I will flash on this guy. I will flash. And yeah, just feels good.
Yeah, there was two specific plays. Obviously, that Baron play at the end where you just kind of go in and you finally get like the huge combo to work, right? The Zahan, the Victor,
Yeah.
and the Rel all meshing at once. Unfortunately for Domination, it didn't seem like there was much that he could add to that. My I guess in the future potentially maybe getting him on maybe different ADCs that work better with that comp. But like when you guys finally got to play that play was huge. And then the other one was after the dragon when you guys all got split and Guster Posey was kind of caught out and it was basically going to be a wash. Easy 2-0 kills. There was no time for anything else to happen. You're flash forward and then you stun the three members.
Oh, the flash Q.
Yes,
Yeah.
of Sigma, and it bought enough time for Spoobert to come up and get the kill onto Yorick and slow down the game to the point where they couldn't follow up on that play. What were you thinking in that time, especially on the second one that we mentioned? Like that was crazy timing for you to be able to do that.
I mean, yeah, it was literally just that. It was like my Zaheen is fist fighting. He managed to get his passive to proc.
Mm-hmm.
And I see my mid laner's behind me and everyone else is running to this fight. And then I just see, I think it was Ryze, Melia, Lucian just line up in a line. And I'm like, well, there you go, that's it. And then I flash Q, but I can't W in because I'll just die. So I just walk away. But it ended up buying enough time to actually like let him live.
Okay, and then I got one more here, and then we'll pass it over to Malco for the final interview questions here. So Spoobert, you finally get the Udyr, but prior to that, the Urgot, and the constant fighting with Espada in the top lane. Like, you guys seem to be like so I don't know if evenly matched or like just like love to fight so much, but the back and forth that you guys have was very reminiscent also of Soul of Ghost and Cleos in the mid lane. Do you just like to fight that much, or is this just a product of who you were going against? And it seemed like Sigma didn't want to give this to you guys, but you guys seem to rise to the occasions when playing against these one seeds so much. Because this is, I think, my second or third time doing this. In these matchups, like you have so much back and forth and so much like I kill him, he kills me. Is that a byproduct of just how you play, or was that kind of the plan of just like limit testing the whole time?
It's I would say it's a byproduct of how I play. Is how I wanted to play that game. I want them to pressure me top, so I have to pressure them super hard because I don't want them to ever go bot. So if I am super pushed up and I am chunking your top lane around, I want the jungler to be here. And I have words that but like, yeah. So, and then that's also why I did the Udyr thing the first game because he was going to go bot and I don't want him going bot. So I pushed him out of his jungle early. Yeah. I want him to path top and to leave my bot lane alone. That is the whole goal.
One
All right,
question
Malco,
for,
you go.
I was gonna say question for Loveless then. Did Spoob's goal actually work for you?
I mean, game three was a little hard. I mean, lane we got through relatively decently considering the matchup. I think it was just a problem when Lucian started walking around the map and eing forward and ulting, where he got like his 8 kills or whatever it was out of lane, or more than that, I guess.
I do think stopping Wukong's entire early game clear, I think they were probably looking to dive you guys early. If he had a full clear, they could have probably looked to dive you guys early. You guys were so low early.
Yeah.
I mean, even with that, you guys still managed to come out with the win, and I'd say you guys should be proud of yourselves because that is one. It's the upset. Two, it secures you guys in playoffs, and honestly, it gives people a chance to see how you guys really play. So I say Spoob, Loveless, you guys did a really good job. Overall, Odium, you guys all did a really good job. I don't have any more questions, fella, unless you have anything else to the fellas. Let's just maybe we could just give them
All
congratulations
right.
and we'll be good.
All right. Okay. Producer is asking a question.
Oh yeah, that's all right.
Yeah.
So we do got one more question for you guys actually, considering you guys are going into playoffs now. So what team would you feel that you're most afraid of going into playoffs?
To be
Team
fair,
team or player?
I cannot really answer that. I don't know the teams that are in Olympus because I only just got put on this team like 2 weeks ago. To be fair,
I just had that in Divinity.
yeah.
I mean, I think I would have said Sigma, but because the bot lane is like ranked really highly. But yeah, I don't know.
I would,
Maybe Jet 2.
Okay.
Okay.
yeah, I would probably still say Sigma. It's very close.
I'd like to play them.
Yeah. I mean, this series, like each game, literally could have went either way. Like we talked about it in the analysis post game. I don't know if you heard, and then in between games, we were all talking about it. It was like 30 minutes, and it's like I have no idea who's going to win this. So this was extremely close. It was a lot of fun, and if you guys do end up matching up against them in the playoffs, I can
That'd be
almost
sick.
guarantee that it's going to be a 5 game banger. So thank you guys so much for joining us on the caster's desk after the game. Thank you so much, Malco, for the amazing play-by-play and making this such a pleasure to do this with. And then thank you, Bredicus and Anti, for all of the production. You guys make it so easy to do this and cast this, and so appreciate you, chat. Congratulations once again to Strawberry Odium
The
and
chat
to
energy was really showing up
yes,
this
it
game.
was.
You guys are probably the real winners here.
Yeah, and congratulations to Dorado Gaming Sigma because they also made the playoffs. It doesn't always feel great to lose on your way into playoffs, but now you get your chance to potentially face them again. So thank you everybody for joining us for Olympus Week 7. Next week will be the first round of playoffs, so keep your ears to the street, and we'll see who we end up getting to cast. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend. Peace.
Thank you.
Peace out, guys.